came on and went, oh, there.
Talking across the northeast, please, because this is Night Owls with Alan Robson.
It's not the right sound. It's not the right sound. So it's not. Hello everybody, welcome to the Night Owls. Alan Robson with you. Thank you for your company tonight. Happy Easter! I hope you are as round as... Hope you've had a nice time. Best you can under the circs. Tonight we are setting you a challenge. And it's all about... You didn't realise that you're not as young as you used to be until... Now, I remember talking to a listener who said that he used to run up this hill every morning. And he went into hospital, came out, and then tried to run up the hill again, and it just was never going to happen. And as the years go on, it doesn't matter. There's a massive difference between being a teenager and being 28. Or being a 28-year-old and a 38, or a 38 to a 48. You know what I mean? Signs that you are not as young as you used to be. I want your signs and your stories, please. I'd love to hear some. Nowadays, of course, when you get out of chairs, it's like... It's that. And you know when you're putting socks on in the morning? You used to be, you stood on one leg and you put your sock on, then you stand on the other leg, you put the sock on. Or you're sitting down now. That's a sign. You also can't do whatever the new dance is. And if you even think of twerking, you look ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? Nicola Soltani says, when you walk into the kitchen and forgot what you went in there for. It happens. But the reason that I mention this is, we did a ghost hunt in the week on Thursday. And for the first time we used like clip-on mics, which means your mic's on all the time. Now I'm used to whenever the camera's not on you, the mic's dead, but it wasn't. And the camera was off doing something, filming somebody else, not me, and I was sitting on the edge of a castle. And I heard myself go, I was thinking of a noise that I'd heard earlier, and I went, and I completely forgot about it, didn't think twice about it, because when you're standing alone, I'd started chuntering. Now, this is something me dad used to do. Me dad used to chunter. But the thing is, if you do it during a ghost hunt, everybody else goes, was that a ghost? No, it was me. It sounds like me. I even had Hollywood McShane the following day sending me that clip saying, what the hell's this? And I said, that's me. And he said, well, what were you doing? And I said, I'll have to watch and have a look, see what I was doing. And I'm not even on camera. I'm not remotely anywhere near the camera. I'm just chuntering. And I'm going to not have to do that. Everybody's going, was that a good? No, it was me. Anyway, so what other things do you do that prove maybe you're not as young as you thought you were? I'll tell you another reason. The following day, I could hardly walk because I was on my feet from about 3:10 in the afternoon till about 1 o'clock in the morning. Christine Yu says, getting ready to go to bed at 9:30 instead of getting ready to go out for the night. There you go. David Woff says, when you pass a toilet and think, well, I might as well as I'm here. Stephen Rogers has saggy boobs. Good of you to admit. Well, I suppose if I can admit chuntering. Easter says, Alan, you can tell that you're getting a little bit older. Hang on, I better read the whole thing out. Just seen it pop up there. You know you're getting old when you have to hold your breath to get your shoe on each foot. Because you're bending double and you kind of, yeah. I know what you mean. So I want to hear your stories, please. The stories of, you can tell that life is just changing for you. Are you another chunterer? With clip-on mics, I'm not going to be able to chunter again, and I will never do that. Because the problem is, if you do it during a ghost hunt, it's on forever. So 1,000 people will question the same thing. You and your teeth don't sleep together has just come up from Facebook. 0191 488 3188. Get your calls in. We have much to discuss. The government are going to be preparing COVID passports. Don't know whether you saw that. And the government said they weren't going to do it, but it's in the pipeline now. You'll not get into a pub, you'll not get into a football match unless you've been jucked. That means you're going to have to get the injection if you want to go and support football. Diane Weston, who looks absolutely gorgeous, says, you know you're getting old if you fall over in front of your mates and they don't laugh. They just panic to help you back on your scooter. And she looks, oh, blimey, she must be at least 23. We have an example of, you can tell when you get a bit older. I was talking to one of our favourites, Jean, and this happened. Do we let her sleep? Hang on, let's see if we can. Jean? Jean? Oh, there she is. Hello, Jean. When I'm calling you. Yeah. Hang on. Gene! I'm not sure whether that last bit was me or whether it was Gene! Hello, Gene! 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 Hold on! One last try, and then we'll just let her sleep. Jean! Hello, Jean!
Oh, man, I'm so tired. I've got a very bad head. I've got a pain in the back of my ear. I don't know what it is.
Well, I know you kept making kind of strange noises.
Shut up, man. Don't be silly.
You did, though. Also, we had Violet on the show, and she was explaining, talking about old men's habits.
What is one of the most horrible things you've ever come across? And I'm afraid Violet's back again. So what else do you reckon's really dodgy, Violet?
I think when old men blow their nose.
How do they do that? What do you mean?
They'll put the hand on top of their nose here, like this.
Like that, yeah?
And then they'll blow.
Then they'll blow.
Really hard.
Like what? Oh, Violet! Violet, don't! Oh, that's Violet. That's disgusting.
And let's talk a little bit about age gaps too. You're with a guy who's in his 20s. In your 20s, usually you dance from field to field, and the chances are at some point he might beetle off with somebody else. However, as long as you know that and you think a little bit of happiness isn't a bad thing, enjoy it as much as you possibly can, and try not to be too upset if and when it happens. If it doesn't happen and it's one of those miracle relationships that stand out, and who would have put money on that? Well, that will be fantastic, because I just want you to be happy and feel loved up. You've just got to prepare yourself for the possibility that he will behave like somebody of his age.
You see, it's not like we're even happy when we're together, because he has like 50 fits a day. He has like more tantrums than a 3-year-old. So, you know, this is why I keep wanting to tell him to grow up. And I think, well, he's so younger than me. No wonder he has his fits.
So tell me your age difference stories as well. She's giving the guy a bit of extra rope because of that. Other things to talk about. I want amazing things that you've seen out the blue. You know, you're just walking, having your day, and then something happens. The other night, driving back home late, I saw a badger run across the road. Now, very rarely see a badger at all. Amazing. I just thought it was great. Newcastle United draw while even West Brom have started winning. And dogs maul a great-grandmother to death. Also, Gateshead rapist gets his 33rd driving ban. Why? He should just be banned. Full stop. You should never get behind the wheel of a car again. Snow and hail for Easter Monday, we're told. Aye. Churches not wearing masks. Is that okay? Because 90% of people that go to church now seem to be over 60. So they're injected. The Pope not wearing a mask with an audience of poor people. Not a very good example to set. And under 40-year-olds are to get a single injection. You know, the new American Johnson & Johnson one, so you don't need two. Teachers are scared of harassment from the children that they pass when they're walking along the corridor. Are you a teacher? Are you a pupil? I mean, how nasty is it for teachers these days? Also, there is an increasing number of people trying to get in your car and steal from you or molest you. Carjackings massively up all over Britain. And what is the daftest thing that you've seen in somebody's garden? Now, I'm mentioning this because not very far from where I am, there's a guy with a really low fence. You know those that's about 3 bricks and you got a bit of concrete across the top? 3 bricks. He's got quite a big front garden and he's put a hot tub right in the middle of the garden. And it's surrounded by houses. Everybody can see that hot tub. Talk about exhibitionists. Well, if you had something like that, you build a big fence, you put trees up, don't you? So what's the daftest thing you've seen in somebody else's garden? Do tell. I'd love those stories. And also, things that change about your body when you get a bit older. This is Shampoo Molly.
You've got arthritis just in your middle finger. Do you use your middle finger more than the other ones?
Alan, what are you like?
I'm just asking why that one would hurt and the other ones wouldn't.
I'm having a problem.
How do you say hello to the neighbours then?
It's not hello to the neighbours, it's when I go to the toilet. I can't wipe me bum.
No!
I can't.
You use your middle finger for that?
Well, usually you do. You use that middle finger more than the other fingers when you've got the toilet roll in your hand. I think you do.
Well, you know, you go to the toilet and you're having difficulty, so what you been doing?
Well, you know them toilet roll things that you can put 5 toilet rolls on.
Oh, like a big rack?
Aye.
Yeah.
You pop the 5. Toilet roll holds 5.
Yeah.
And, I tip the toilet rolls off, wrap loads of toilet roll around the end of there, and wipe me bum.
No!
Yes, I have to.
No!
It's either that or asking my husband, and I wouldn't ask him.
No!
Yeah. Things change when you get a little bit older. Tell me your stories, please. Alan Robson with you. Greatest Hits Radio Northeast. 1,000 things. Whatever's happened to you, tell me your stories. Pick up your telephone right now. Let's get on and do it. A million things to talk about, I'm sure. Love to hear your views on everything. But you can tell you're getting old when. What's the most amazing thing that you've seen out the blue that you didn't expect? Those kind of things would be a good target. But we are the greatest hits for a reason.
Hi everybody, welcome to another one of our legendary Night Owls Live Ghost Hunts. God blame me, we're out in the dark again and I couldn't be happier with the place where we are. It is a stunning place. I think you're not just going to like it, but you're going to love it. Let me briefly explain what's going to happen. But first of all, if I could introduce behind the camera the man who's going to be jiggling, but hopefully not too much. That is going to be Tony Anthony Hollywood McShane.
Hello, hello.
And Tony's the man behind things. He is going to be looking after us big style, as he always does. And also, we have with us Kenny. So he's just going to put Kenny's mic on and grab that. And Kenny, of course, has travelled across the world. Tony, of course, used to be my producer when we had a week's worth of shows. Kenny has worked in radio all of his life. Kenny's just coming forward. Let everybody take a look and see the true horror. That's before we start. But no, Kenny worked in radio for about 30 odd. How many years? 30 odd?
God, yeah, 30 odd, yeah.
30 odd years. Yeah. And we're just going to tell you a little bit about what's happening later on tonight. We've got 3 amazing stories that we're going to share with you. And then halfway through, we're going to cut and we go into an area that's just for our supporters. The reason for this is very straightforward. As you know, we used to work, and now Tony and I are 1 day a week. Kenny is no days a week. So we're aiming to make this ultimately our livelihood. So I hope you'll understand and support us if you can. We give you an hour to see what's happening, and who knows, because you can never tell when something's going to go. Last week, we were amazingly lucky. We got voices, we got full-bodied apparitions, we got things touching us that you could see something coming and touching us. Amazing. The stuff that we got last week, unbelievable. I would love to think we could do even better this week, but you don't know. You get what you get. We get nothing this week. But the good thing about it is it'll be completely honest. And that's the way, the only way we can do it. Got some great history, some amazing places. 3 stories, really. And I'm going to name them as, first of all, the original vampire, before they were even vampires, if you can believe such a thing. Here, this is the place, the original vampire. Then we move on to Knights Templars, Vikings, maybe a bit of that. An amazing, very short story about cheating and death. Then we move on to press gangs. Then we move on to a bloody castle with an amazing story, a historical story that is just incredible. And it shows the bravery of the people of the North, which we've always known. So remember, though, after about an hour, the stream will end, unless you're a supporter. And we hope we can persuade you, following last week, and hopefully what we do this week, please join us, become a supporter, and help us do what we do. If you like what we do, then we will succeed. And if you don't, well, then we won't. But I hope you will, and I hope you'll follow us and take us through to the next level, where we'll take you even further afield and show you even more things. That's how important it is for you guys to support us. So that's what we're doing. Amazing stories. Kenny, Tony, myself, Alan Robson, I've been in the business, if you don't know who I am, for a lot of years, on television, radio, writing books, a historian too. And a lot of that history comes from places like this, and you're completely spoiled. So where are we? I'll tell you specifically where we are. Some of you may recognize it. If you do, stay in the warm, don't rock up, because obviously at these times you've got to keep distances. We can have 6 people with us. We got 3 already, but if a whole load of you pile down, then we're in trouble. So we don't want that. So let's get to the game. Let's get started. To be honest, we said this might last 2 hours, which is kind of what we normally do. We might go just an ounce over with this one, purely just because of the distances between the places where we've got to go. Let's see how it works out. It's live. You never know what's going to happen. It looks very, very dark. Stick the lights on. Let's get headed. I think we've got to go that way. Or do we? Or do we have to go the other way? That's the way out. This way. All right. Well, we're going this way. Right. Now, you may wonder where we are. We are actually in a park area. Let's just put it that way. Because the first story we've got goes way, way, way back. And it's the story of a guy called William Parvis.
Call Alan Robson's Night Owls now.
0191 488 3188.
This is real life conversation with the voice of the North.
Greatest Hits Radio.
Yeah, let's talk about stuff, shall we? Let's talk about some stuff. Love that. Just had this come in from Chris the Truck, who says, "Hi, Alan. I know I'm old because I have more hair on me chin than on me head," he says. And he also says, "Do you know the origin of the word liggy?" He says, "I was listening to Geordie and Brian Johnson earlier and realised to my horror as a Geordie, I had no clue what a liggy is. And also, this may seem like a personal question, but where's your pink muff gone?" I've got a butch muff now. It's a lovely shade of blue for those just listening on the radio. For those of you watching on YouTube or any of their Facebook, whatever, thank you very much for bothering to put me on the big screen. I really appreciate it. Liggy. Okay, let's sort it out. First of all, the word liggy comes from the word league, because way back, even in Victorian times, people would play marbles in leagues, and the thing you played with was a leaguey, League, a leaguey. You're playing a leagueys. What's yours? So you would have marbles, because they're made in a glass factory. They're the circular pieces of glass, usually with cat's eyes in them. Many of you will have seen them, if not people of the modern age. But they used to sometimes get ball bearings from factories, and people use them and you break your thumb trying to play with them. But the word league, because let's face it, we've always used words in a different way in the North. League became leaguey. Are you going to play leaguey? Yeah, okay, leaguey. Get your leagueys out. So everybody got the liggies out. And if you ever had a big marble, because you could get big marbles, and you had special games for the super big marbles, they were called penkers. Penker was the big marble. Little marbles were leagueys, and there was also muggles, a slightly different type of marble. The ones that aren't made with the cat's eyes, the ones that are like all white with little spots on, they were muggles. Oh, blimey, this is another world out there. The world of ye olde Geordie. There you go. Anyway, let's crack on. Let's talk to people. We have Martin in Gateshead, and I think Martin's family. Hello, Martin.
Hello, Alan, sir. How are you?
I'm good. Now, it's been a long time since we talked to you. Martin came with us to one of our adventures. You were at Washington Old Hall, I believe.
I was indeed, sir, and I'll never forget it.
Good, man. I hope you think back on it with a smile, anyway.
Oh, absolutely. It's on YouTube now, and I always point people in the direction, and not just that one, but all your stuff. Because somebody messages the other day asking how to, listen to them, and I just pointed them in the direction.
Thank you. Good.
But I became a supporter straight away when I heard what you were doing, because you've done a lot for people over the years, and when you need a little bit of help, I hope loads of people will come and do it, but there's loads so far, and I'm proud of each and every one of them, and of course yourself. So
I know. Thank you very much. But again, just before we go into it, because I know you want to talk about, you can tell you're adding a year or two. First things first, what is your abiding memory of the Washington thing? Because you were a big part of that show.
Yeah, indeed, because I told you about when I first experienced the ghost, my auntie's old house down in Chesterfield,
yes.
And I just thought, was it just that, or, and that's why I wanted to get out there to see what else there was. And indeed, obviously that night, yes, there was stuff kicking, as we listened to it, as we heard it, and everybody else who was there. And yeah, again, since then, not too much. A little bit of shadows, bangs and flashes in between. I've obviously moved house since, and that's the first thing I was thinking of, could I get a feel of the place? And when you're there, when it's empty and you're doing it up, and you're there by yourself and stuff. But nothing untoward, and we've made a lot of changes, and that's sometimes one of the big things. Like certainly my old house, when we knocked the wall in, and then all hell broke loose and footsteps in the attic and the rest of it. But in this time, it was just little changes and nothing untoward.
That's brilliant. So come on, tell me about how old and crusty you're becoming then, Martin.
Well, I'm still in me late 30s, you know. But what I was saying to Chris there was great catching up with him, and I said, you know, I was getting grey hairs at 27, you know. So,
right.
but speaking of something grey, that leads us nicely into Thursday night, doesn't it? So, you know, the bit on the top there, you know, when you know, and I've never seen Kenny so frightened since when he was in Prague at the Bone Cathedral. And honestly, it takes a lot to get him frightened, you know, and he's been all over the world, you know.
Yes.
And what happened was when he, I had to watch it back, obviously, but then I saw it, you know, and, you know, he jumped out of the way and he said, "Go on, Alan, touch it." But of course you did. You went to do it, you know, and you went, what? And you were touching. But did you see what it looked like when you watched it back? Did you see it was one of them? It was. It can only be described as like a grey phantom-y type, but your typical ghost, something like off a Scooby-Doo cartoon. Crazy. It was a typical ghosty shadow.
And you know, but at the moment that Kenny saw it, immediately, Tony didn't immediately, because he was just looking, obviously, at the camera lens, and I saw the aftermath, not the actual thing. So it was only when I actually got back the day following, after Tony'd sent me chuntering and said, "What the hell?" Anyway, but after he'd done that, he says, "Here's the whole show, watch the show." And it was only then that I saw just exactly what it was. And it's the kind of stuff that just odd. And yet, the last time that Tony and I visited the castle, it was years and years and years ago for a radio show, he caught something on camera, like a whirling, twisting kind of thing. And hard to. I'll see if Tony can dig it out sometime. I think we still might have the clip. Do you still have the clip, Tony? He's going to have a look. He thinks he may well have it.
Well, before that, I think it was either before or after that. There was when I put in the chat. You know, I was watching it, and there was what only could be described as like a whirlwind of orbs, but they were all going in a certain pattern. They were all going upwards in a certain direction. I was thinking, wow, that's awesome. It was orange. There were orange orbs, and they were just all going up. And I was thinking, surely they've got to see something like that, you know, because everybody else did, you know. And but so when the camera was going up the stairs and we all heard the word sapphire, was that you, chuntering? Was that you?
No, the noise that I kind of made, and do you know, it was so lucky that I chunted, and it was bad that I chunted because it's not professional at all. I should have kept my mouth shut. Completely forgot about the mic. Usually when you're not being filmed, if you need a sneaky wee, and could you imagine if it had been a sneaky poo? Just cut across to you, Alan. You just that doesn't bear thinking about. But instead, I was thinking about something that I'd heard earlier on, and I was thinking, what exactly could that have been saying? It kind of went, well, that's what I was thinking, and I said it out loud. And I even thought I was saying it in my head, but I obviously said it out loud because somebody instantly said, "That's Alan," and you were quite right, it was me.
But everyone said they heard the same thing, and it was just like a whispered voice. So, well, you know, at least we're all
Sapphire. No, absolutely. Paying attention is always a good thing. No, the thing is, when you do them, the thing that I've noticed, because I'm experienced at doing radio stuff, obviously, and I've done a fair bit of TV, but the one thing that has stunned me is that when you see it back, you actually really see it, because you see it from a distance. When you're right up close, something happens and you're spinning around and you're saying, "What's that?" And I was seeing kind of the odd orb here, and I was seeing something that was almost like dust flying up in the air at one point. And then Kenny later, after the whole thing was done, said, "Did you not see that the shape of that thing?" And I said, "What thing?" And he was saying, "No, do you know when we were up on the whatever that was?" And when I saw it back, I was just blown away. Fantastic. I do know we're heading for one where we get absolutely nothing at all, because we've done a couple and we've had great results. I would love to think we could keep the kettle boiling, but sooner or later we'll just hit a dry thing, but it'll be what it'll be. And but
it's not just sort of what you get, though, is it? It's the whole production, you know, the whole your teamwork that you've got there with your team, and you in the way that you tell the stories. It makes every special that you've done or ever done in the past or done now. It makes it more like enticing, and people want to listen. They want to continue listening because they want to know what's going to happen next. And that's what I've always loved, whether you've had people with you or whether you've been by yourself. So that was my next question. I think you've just answered it there. How was the transition between, radio and then going out and doing it? Because, you see a lot more on camera. And when you're on the radio and doing your specials, you always tell the listeners, you use your imagination. I'll be your eyes. I'll take you through this and that and the other. And yeah, it's always been that way. But so it's just a nice sort of refreshing change, really, for when you're out and about and you're actually going out there and doing it, And
I think the biggest difference between the two, Martin, is that when you're doing it the way we do it now, which is basically heads down 2 hours charge, or 2 hours 20. I think it was about 2 hours 20, 2 hours 30 last time. Whatever it is, if you're doing radio, every 15 minutes you get 5 minutes for sorting yourself out, having a wee, relaxing, talking to people, saying, we're going to do this, and then I'm moving on there. But instead, they've just got to go where I take them. And to be honest, last Thursday, I took them before the show, and I said, look, we're going to go there, up there, because there was an amazing story that I'll be sharing with the supporters group on tomorrow or Tuesday, or one or the other. We're going to do a show just to go back. There's a beautiful, and I mean a weepy, made me tear up story about the bench that we did a blessing on. And it's just such a lovely, warming story. And the whole plan was to go up there and tell a story, and I walked straight past it. So the best made plans and all of that, when you're doing 2 hours non-stop, you try and remember everything that you've learned, about like histories and where you've got to be to hit certain marks in certain places. But so far, we're learning every time, and we're trying to get better every time. But I'm sincerely thanks to you and everybody else who bothers watching it all. We just thank you for that. We really appreciate it.
No worries. No, I think as well, and I obviously it's been a long time since I spoke to you, but I've never stopped listening. Even when you had your break, and I knew you would come back because people want to listen to you, Alan. It's just that simple. People want to listen to you. Because Kenny popped into my old work, but a year and a bit ago, and he remembered us, and we're talking and that, and I said I'd always keep listening, and and I'm glad that you're back. Okay, might only be once on the Sunday, and then on the Thursday. Now we're doing this. But like I say, people want to listen to your file. So, and I think when the opportunity presents itself again, when you were saying when we're able to, I'd like to come out again with you. If that's all right.
Absolutely. Hey, no problems. What we would like is a kind of a slow drip feed. We want to get what we're doing right, and I still think we've got lots of places we could do better. We got to get it right and comfy and safe. Safe is important. And when we get there, let's crack on. I would like a guest most shows,
But if you can put my name on the list, so don't forget about it.
I won't, Martin. Hey, thank you very much. You were great at Washington. Appreciate your comments as well. Very kind. Thanks again, mate. Lovely talking to you. Thanks for coming on.
Take care, man.
Bye-bye.
All the best. Yeah.
That's nice. Getting his first grey hairs, though, in his 20s. One of my best mates lost nearly all his hair when he was about 26. It just, that, and it was gone. And then you think, well, what do you do with it? And to his credit, he just, with a whole lot of it, and respect to him for that. Okay, David is with us. He is in Sunderland. Hi, David.
Hi, Alan.
Hello, mate. What can we do for you tonight?
Well, you're saying about when you're getting old.
Yeah, how can you tell?
Well, this goes for all men.
Right.
You know when you're getting old, when you've had your hair cut, and the barber says, do you want your eyebrows doing?
Oh, yeah. What's going on with... Because, I'm sorry, what goes on with your eyebrows? I used to joke when I was a kid, because we had, one of the science teachers was a man of a certain age, and his eyebrows were, they were, 5 inches from his head, boing! And yet, I'm even, if If I really pushed it, I could say, "Oh, that one's a bit of a long one." What's going on with our eyebrows? I don't understand that at all.
That's when you know when you're getting old.
There you go. Got it in one. Okay, anything else you want to talk about, Dave?
Aye, COVID passports.
Yeah, where do you stand on them?
All for them. I mean, Doris has been lying to us for the last 3 weeks saying it's not going to happen.
Yep.
And of course, we all know.
We all knew right from the beginning. Of course it was.
He's going to change his mind.
Yep.
I can't see any problem with him. You're going to get the people who go, "Oh, I can't have the injection." So, 97% of the population has got to suffer because you 3% can't have it or won't have it.
Well, I mean, the other side of the kind of COVID, and I can see, first of all, you can't say, we're going to open sporting events and we're going to make it potluck. Good luck if you don't get it. So I understand the COVID, it kind of makes sense if everybody's been jucked and they've got their double, they've had both doses. Then tally-ho, off you go. People will argue, but this is your human rights. Why should anybody, anywhere, anytime, have the right to tell us where to drink, where we can eat, when we can eat, how we can eat, what sports we can and can't watch, what gigs we can and can't go to? That's a big deal, isn't it?
Well, no, the time you can go to them, but you've got to comply with the rest of the country.
Right. There'll be still those that are very unhappy about this, though. There's no doubt about it.
On COVID, did you see Panorama this week?
I didn't. Tell me about it.
Oh, they had a hidden reporter in one of the factories where they do the tests.
Right.
And for the first few months, they were sitting about watching the telly because they had nothing to do.
Right.
And then Doris says he wanted 70,000 tests doing.
Right.
And the place went ballistic. And she was, they were videoing where they were doing these tests in blocks, where they have all the, there's 144 or 100 in a block.
Right.
And the 5 prongs go down and...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Well, they started doing this, and then they were getting bits dragged across and dribbled over other tests and this, that, and the other.
Right.
And then they were going up and getting tested. And she was saying, "Well, what happens with that? Or just wipe it off with your glove."
What?
But then she went to where the results were coming through and they were up on the screen. And there was half a dozen green tests, which were okay. Several red tests, which were positive. And the rest were all orange. And she says, "What about the orange ones?" "Oh, they're invalid. They've got to be done again."
Oh, blimey. What a waste of time, though.
And this is where Doris is jumping up and down saying, "We're doing 70,000 tests."
Yeah.
The only problem is, out of the 70,000, you're going to be lucky if there's 5,000 accurate. Another 65,000's got to be done again.
What a clot. And it's not just a waste of time, it's a waste of money. And the people that are getting tested, they're getting tested for a reason, because they're worried about it. Otherwise, they wouldn't even think about it. So to put their mind at rest, and then they're told, "Oh, you've got to come in and go through all that again." Oh, what a clot. Because it's an invasive. Have you had a test done?
No, I've had the injection, but I haven't had a test.
Yeah, because the tests are, it's like, I'm going to stick this as far up your nose as I possibly can, and you practically see it going past your eye. This is it's an invasive, uncomfortable thing, so you certainly wouldn't want to do it twice.
Nope.
Crazy. Anything else then, mate?
Yep. Religion.
Yes.
You've got all these different religions praying to different gods. Where's these gods while COVID's going on? Because they're not looking after their own.
Right. And the weird thing, I mentioned religion before. The church is going back. Many of them are not wearing masks. They're just saying, just stand like a yard apart. So they think that's sufficient. And the Pope not wearing a mask as well. Just seems, when everybody else is trying to play the game, the church going its own way on this. I know some churches are, but there's a lot of them not, apparently. I mean, are you big? Are you big on religion? Do you have a lot of faith yourself?
No, I don't believe in some big man in the sky.
Right.
Not at all.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Just like they see all these God botherers, they'll all be, "Oh, God will look after us," and I don't think so.
Right. Well, I mean, that's why. Bottom line is always try and look after yourself. And thank you very much for coming on, David.
Okay, no.
Great to hear from you. Bye-bye. If you are particularly religious, happy Easter. big time. The resurrection and everything. 0191 488 3188. To yourself be true, and may your God go with you, as Dave Allen used to say. Right, Rebecca is in Cheshire, and let's have a word with Rebecca. Hello, Rebecca.
Hiya, how you doing?
I'm good. Thank you very much for taking the time to give us a call.
No problem.
What can we do for you tonight?
I was just phoning just to talk about your little ghost hunt that you did on Thursday.
Oh, right. Did you enjoy it?
It wasn't exactly a disappointment, was it?
That was blew
Things going off left, right, and centre.
Yeah, good. Well, I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, it was that voice that you captured that I thought was the best thing. It was that at first when I heard it, I don't know if everyone was watching it, but there was a voice that seemed to say the word sapphire in like a really creepy whisper. Yeah. And at first I thought, why someone just said that, into the camera? And then I thought, oh, hang on, I don't think they did. And then Kenny seemed quite calm, so I thought, well, he's clearly not heard it, or I think he'd probably be running down the pathway as fast as his legs could carry him, as would we all. Yeah. But it was so clear.
Somebody said to me that after I saw it, the thing, and I know I chunted, and I apologise for me chunting, but the sapphire thing, somebody said it could be set fire.
Ah, right. Well, I don't know about that. I did look into sapphire, and just on good old Google. Uh-huh. And there is a link, but it's a bit tenuous, to be fair.
Okay, what is it?
There was the Carey family. So there was Henry Carey, who was the governor of Berwick.
Right.
That was in like the mid-1500s, after Flodden.
Right.
And he had a son, Robert, who also had strong links with Berwick. He was married there, and he was actually the warden of Middlemarch, which is the area, that's what it was called then, to the west of Berwick.
Yes.
And he had a big role to play in calming down the reavers, which were the raiders in the borders at the time. Yeah. But in the early 1600s, he was actually at Richmond Palace in Elizabeth I's court. And when she died, it was his job to take her sapphire ring up to James VI in Scotland, who was obviously going to be succeed to the throne and become James I. And it's documented that he went through Widrington. Whether he went through his old stomping ground of Berwick, I don't know. But the dates are quite interesting because it would have been at the end of March, which is kind of when you were doing your bit on Thursday. But quite what he's doing still at the top of Berwick Castle in 2021, I don't know.
No, but it's interesting that you say that because, I mentioned at the beginning that we had planned this route that I instantly ignored right at the beginning and went just wandering. We should have, after we'd been to the place where the zombie, the vampire story is set.
Yeah.
There's a little track behind a graveyard that goes up a hill.
Right.
To a thing called the Brass Bastion, which was a big, and if you go there any day you can, you will see a massive fortification of sorts, which were guns that Queen Elizabeth I had placed in Berwick to defend the country from the potential Spanish invasion that everybody was warning her about. And it was said that her most trusted company of guards were placed there because it was in Berwick, the furthest away from obviously the seat of power, London. So she needed people that she could trust up there. So maybe if you were carrying something that was that important, you remember you're giving it to the king over the border, you'd go where your most trusted guards would be, maybe.
Especially if you're passing through the borders, which were, a bit rough at those times.
Cowboy towns, absolutely.
It was, and Henry Carey was actually Elizabeth's cousin.
Whoa.
Because he was the son of, I think it was Mary Boleyn, who was Anne Boleyn's.
I love the fact that you've gone the extra yard with it, because who would have thought? And that's true. You see, when you do them, I go on a track, and quite often there's little avenues you could go off down, but I'm very focused. I tend to stick to the track as near as I can. I love the fact that you found that out. I'm going to be reading that up tomorrow when I.
It's quite nice when you mix the history in with it, isn't it? Because you find out different things.
I've always thought that the best thing about ghosts is finding out how they got to be ghosts in the first place.
Yeah.
And that's the history of it, of course.
Well, it's the thing I liked about the live things that you do is there's just no frills. It's not edited.
Right.
It's not sensationalised, is it? Like some of the ghost hunt programs you can see on TV.
Sure.
What you see is what's happening. You can make your own mind up, can't you?
Sure. I mean, absolutely. If people
Yeah.
choose not to believe any of it, fair enough. I always say disbelieve 95%, but the 5% that you can't explain, that's the juice. That's what you look for.
That's it. I mean, my dad, he's an open-minded guy, but as far as ghosts and things like that go, he's quite sceptical, which is surprising, really, because there's mediumship down his line of the family.
Wow,
and
right.
his great-grandmother was a well-known medium in Sunderland.
Yeah.
But he's not having any of it. So I said, right, I've said to him, I'm going to challenge you that when we're allowed, I'm going to take you up to Chillingham and I'm going to make you sit there all night and scare yourself silly, and let's see by the morning if you're any less sceptical.
Yeah, stick him in the oubliette and just leave him for 10 minutes. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Happy
I mean,
days.
I've never had my own experience, and I've always been so interested in paranormal and reincarnation and all that kind of thing since I was little. You know, I read all the books and listen to all the podcasts, but it's the one thing I've never had is my own experience, and it's like that itch I want to scratch, you know, just to...
You were born to come out with us then. Wait till we get a bit of momentum. Would you come up for one?
I absolutely would. I'd be up there like a shot, Helen.
It'll happen. It'll happen. What I would suggest is leave for those who want to join in. Please, everybody, get an email off to us with your name, your contact details, your email, and why you want to do it. And we've just heard that this is something that you've wanted to do.
Oh, well, you can definitely put my name down for that, Alan. I'll be up there like a shot.
Lovely. Hey, Rebecca, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks so much,
hang on
Alan.
a second. It just says on my screen here, listens in the attic. What?
Dodgy. No, I'm up in the attic because it's the only place I get decent reception on my phone.
Oh, bless.
So when I was talking to Chris, he said, are you in your spooky attic in Cheshire? I was like, yes. Oh, one thing, Alan, about feeling old.
Yeah.
Twice this morning. Didn't make me feel very good. Someone said to me this morning, they were talking about something that happened 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And in my mind, when someone says 30 years ago, I always think in 1970, not 1990. That always catches me off there.
Yeah.
But the other one was, I was online shopping, mainly due to my lack of control during lockdown. And I just needed to expand my wardrobe and, not the amount of clothes I have inside it, but the physical size of the clothes I have inside it. So I clicked on the ladies section and I honestly thought I clicked on the underwear section by mistake. I was like, who can wear this? And you know, when you utter the words, I just want to feel comfortable. I thought, oh, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it now.
Yeah.
I'm ignoring all things to do with fashion. I just want to feel
it's as soon as you say, I couldn't go out in that. And I've done that. I've done that too. It's like, because I wear kind of wacky, but it's wacky, old school wacky that I've got. I'm not doing modern wacky. I'm doing back then wacky. And that's fair enough. But there's certain things. I saw a pair of platform boots. And I remember thinking, I used to have a good few pair of them. And you think, hell's how long ago was that?
I know. Scary. It all comes full circle, though, doesn't it?
They'll
really,
be back, absolutely.
I don't know who can get... I mean, I've had 2 kids. If I went out and that stuff, I'd get arrested for indecent exposure. It was horrendous. But so I thought, no, I'll stick with...
Stick with comfy, and why not? Yeah. Good talking to you, Rebecca. Thanks for coming on.
Lovely to speak to you, Alan.
Cheers, Dan. Bye-bye. Don't I just love somebody who gets down and dirty with a history and determined to do something and find something to do with the word sapphire. Now, the stars come out tonight. You know what we do on Greatest Hits Radio Northeast. We bring you the stars. This is In Excess talking about the legend who was Michael Hutchence. Last time I was talking to you was literally about 6 months before Michael passed.
Okay.
You were saying it must be an awful life to be followed by so many cameras everywhere you do, where he goes. And obviously the Paula thing was still front page of all the newspapers. Towards the end of it, were you remotely aware that, you know, this was going to come to such a sudden end? I mean, or did you think that business as normal, he's just in the papers again?
I mean, I don't think there's anything normal about this business, quite frankly. but one thing I would say is that I think there has been a sort of tendency really to put a lot more focus on people's
personal lives
as opposed to their musical credibility in this era.
Yeah.
And perhaps, you know, I think for us we found it was the case that Michael actually found some sort of refuge with us because we're his mates and we played together for so many years.
Right.
We've been to hell and back as a bunch of people, and we actually found that we gave him perhaps a bit of respite from his troubles, perhaps if I can put it that way.
No, that's
he seemed, to me, it was. I mean, to all of us, it was a great shock, obviously. But
where were you when you found? I mean, were you
at
in
rehearsal at the ABC in Sydney? For me, because I'd driven Michael to rehearsal a couple of days and on and off and whatever, because I lived near where he was staying and that.
Right.
And he was really excited about the tour we're about to do, and he was excited about Paula and the kids coming out for Christmas, and he seemed really on top of the world.
So the newspapers spoke about suicide. They spoke about all of this kind of standard newspaper hype when somebody in the industry passes.
Yeah.
What's your throw on that?
Unfortunately, the reality of it is we weren't there with him at the time.
Right.
We just don't know. We were the same as everybody else.
But there was no clues as to.
Well,
no, that's right.
I think. I mean, it was obviously he had problems,
Sure.
But I mean, ultimately, you can support people. But you sort of can't solve their problems for them.
That's their own personal responsibility.
Well, in a sense, also when you work with people for many years, part of what gives you the ability to get on with people as well is perhaps not to. You don't want to force yourself into people's personal areas at all times, of the day and night. If you're working together for months and months on end, it's just not natural.
So, the Spanish Armada, of course. Am I out? I am. The Spanish Armada, of course, never attacked in the way that it was expected to be, because some people said it was going to come up the northeast coast, and there were gun emplacements pointed towards the sea, massive cannons, expecting the Spanish to land at any time and come in. How many people know this? Amazing. Let's go through. This is, again, part of the original castle wall that they've dug into or used so the cars can come down here. I think there's a golf club not 100 miles away from here too. Now make sure, please make sure that everybody that's watching shares this feed. Share it with everybody. And let me tell you that with an echo, because if you do that, then of course we'll be able to do an awful lot more tonight. Not just tonight, every night. So share away, share this feed, and we'll be able to do an awful lot more. If you just look back on that gate, it's just an amazing lump of history. This is, see the thickness of it. That's the thickness of Berwick Castle Wall. Just look at it. Tremendous. That's how thick the castle wall was to defend this town. And it goes, for those of you that have not been to Berwick, it's really a trip worth making. Get up on the train. We've got a little station in Berwick that you can visit. And it's not far from the town centre. Blimey. Just caught a glimpse of some. It felt like there was somebody staring over the top of the wall there. May well have been imagination, but right. So, bit of street lights here. So I'm going to knock my torch off. The place where we're at, the castle wall goes right the way around the entire town. And this is the new castle, not Newcastle, but the new castle. And it was built a lot later. There you go. Let's go a little bit closer so we'll see a little bit of that, and then we'll head back to where we're going. Maybe just be able to have a quick look in and check out the courtyard. We're heading towards a cemetery next, so bear with us. There's an awful lot to see there as well. Lots of really creepy stories in a churchyard. I know a lot of people get spooked out by churchyards. Sometimes let's light it up, Kenny. There you go. Duet Mondroit. Nisi Dominus Erusta. And the King's Own Borderers, Scotland. Let's see what the castle looks like inside. Beams left or right, Kenny? Okay. Let's just show you a little bit. If you see anything at home, make sure that you post it in the middle of sharing it. You can come and visit these places when eventually the dance is over with... Whoa, hang on. Go back there. Can you see up the... No, just slightly to the left, up the corridor. There's like a corridor next to the... Look, do you see something right in the middle?
Hang on.
That's freaky. Oh, it's gone. It's gone. There was something right in the middle. Just like a dark... Did you see it? Did you make any of that out, Tony?
Something.
There was just like a black figure right in the middle. Just right in the middle. No, it's gone. And I'm thinking, could it be the torch, two torches together, but that just lightens it up and no, it's gone. Oh, that's a nibble. It's a nibble. I want more than a nibble. Right, okay. The proud King's Own Scottish Borderers. My dad fought with the Border Regiment for a little while because they moved people around. As you can see here, that's a churchyard, and that's where we're heading next. I can hear voices. I heard a voice. I heard voices. Mind you, we are still, and I know it's late and most people are in, we're not anywhere near a place where there should be anybody other than in their beds. Look at those trees. They're cool, spooky trees. Right, let's make our way. I'm hearing voices again. It's weird because we're right next to the cemetery. I think that was a Starbucks cup. Just people are going mad for them, I've heard. Anyway, let's move down. Right, turn right. Turn right. It's kind of unsettling when you're next to a cemetery and you hear voices. Watch the torch for the people's houses. Right. And this is the place. This is amazing. People know this as the parish church, Berwick Parish Church, and yet it is actually Holy Trinity Church. And this was one of those things that... Oh, there's the odd light on in here.
It just went on. It just went on. That wasn't on when we walked in. I think it must be a security light.
Do you think? Really? How many cemeteries have... Well, just stop a second and let's take in what we're actually looking at. Now, there's a few reasons why we're here. There's about four. There's about 4 or 5. The thing I need you to look at first is that. Try and take it from the side so you get the full image. Do you know what that is? Can you make that out? Tony, take your torch out.
Yeah, without the torches on.
Can you make that out? It's the Green Man. Oh, let's give you a little bit of light. It's just there. You got him? Now, why has a church got the Green Man? The Green Man is a symbol. He's the old man of the woods. The Green Man symbolizes Father Earth. You got Mother Earth, you got Father Earth. The Green Man. You often see garden centers selling like green, shaggy individuals. It's one of the oldest pagan symbols, summing up. I heard a voice and somebody moving. Oh, did you hear that?
Yeah, like a bump. It was a bump. I'm scared now. I don't want to know.
you see a bump, and to me it was like somebody moving in a coffin. But I mentioned the Green Man. But hang on, before you go any further, and please, if you are out there, let us see you and let us hear you. But there's stuff like this above the door, and it doesn't look much. I understand it, but there's the Green Man again, right on the top.
Take your torch down. There.
All right, okay. Once again, a church covered with pagan symbols that go directly against everything to do with the church. So why is it there? It's a very old church, and it was built around the same time that they built Roslyn Chapel, because this place has a direct link to Roslyn Chapel. It has a direct link to the family of Jesus Christ, who escaped from the Holy Land to go to Malta, where the Knights Templars were. And the Knights Templars were said to travel across Europe to France.
After going behind.
The team doesn't panic. We know we have to build momentum, the performance, the ball has to move quicker, we have to move in more tandem with each other, and the 2 goals we scored were 2 good goals and deserved to win the game in the end, I felt.
Struggling Newcastle drew 2-2 with Tottenham. Rangers will face Celtic in the 4th round of the Scottish Cup after thrashing Cove Rangers 4-0. And Valencia's players walked off the pitch in protest after Mukhtar Diababi claimed he was racially abused in their La Liga match with Cadiz. The game eventually resumed, but without the French defender who was substituted. From Sky News, I'm Richard Newman.
Thanks, Richard. Alan Robson with you, and lots to talk about. And how about this? Alan, I love listening to your show. I just thought I would share this story with you. I'm not really a football fan, don't really follow football. However, a few years back, I found and bought a signed football from a charity shop. It looked like a Newcastle one, and I did recognise a couple of signatures. So to get it authenticated, I took it to the Newcastle United supporter shop. I showed the lady assistant the signed ball, and I said, I think it's a Newcastle United signed ball. One of the signatures says Alan Robson. She looked at me like I was daft. She says, do you mean Bobby Robson? I have never felt so silly. Quickly exited the supporter shop. Keep up the good work, Alan. Night Owls forever. All of the best. DJ Trig. The weird thing was, when I worked at the club, quite often a ball would come in and for a charity or something, and I would take it to the dressing room and get all the lads to sign Kevin or whatever, the Ginola, or, all the stars. And sometimes I would sign it as well. So it's not as daft as she thinks. Anyway, 0191 488 3188. Promised you the chance to win a prize, as always. And we have a Night Owls mug waiting there for you. If you could tell me what links 4 songs together. I'm going to give you 4 clues. Each clue will give you a song title. Some very famous, some less famous. But you've just got to get your head into what I'm thinking. And good luck with that. The first clue is, when you buy anything from a shop, they put your money in one. Write that down. When you buy anything in a shop, they put your money in one. In one what? That's your first clue. There will be 3 more other clues that you are aiming to get. Get those answers together. Tell me what links all 4 answers. Then you stand a chance to win our prize. Let's see how well you fare. Meanwhile, and I was waving this at the screen. We've got literally hundreds of people who have been waiting for photographs for rather a long time. So I've just signed them all. So hopefully you'll be getting them within the next week or so. Fingers crossed. Let us crack on. And we have next Kim, who is in Gateshead. Now, I've got some pictures on my screen about Kim's call. Hi, Kim.
Hello, are you all right?
I'm very well. We talked about just an amazing something that you saw just when you didn't expect it. And when I asked that question, I really didn't expect what you've sent me. Where's this?
Where is it? It's in Whitley Bay somewhere.
And there's a tiger on the lawn, a gorilla, a black Santa, a mod. It's bizarre.
It is, and I think my favourite part is the little dolls doing a nativity with a lamb with some wellies on and a jumper. Yeah, like
I'm just spotting it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it's got grey patterned wellies on the sheep.
And there's a little rocking horse there behind him as well.
Yeah. Oh. In a knight in armour holding a Buddha on top of the porch roof. It's random.
It is. I worked for the emergency services, and we were there for a totally unrelated reason. We're just driving along the street afterwards, and I was like, "What on earth is that?" Because I saw the tiger. I kind of wish I'd seen it at night with the fairy lights, but I also think I probably would have died had I spotted that in the dark.
It's just, over the years, the things have happened. If you put stuff outside your house, I had a really fancy ornament once, like a Japanesey kind of thing that I bought at a garden centre. Lasted about 4 days, and then some people ruptured themselves trying to carry it away, didn't get very far, and smashed it. And you think, well, you don't want to be stopped putting cool things out, but it's a real nasty taste in your mouth if somebody lifts them.
Yeah.
But then again, when you look at this, who's going to pinch?
The mannequins and the gorillas.
I know, and it's going to take 4 people to carry the tiger, you would think, because that's like a life-size tiger, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Wow.
But it's bizarre. I mean, I kind of hope whoever's house that is listening, to be honest.
Yeah, so do I. And absolute respect. If that was your house over Christmas, because you see, with snow, it would look even weirder. If you think tigers and gorillas in the snow, that's not quite what you expect. How's life been for you? Emergency services, my goodness, I bet you've been rushed off your feet.
Yeah, it's been different, but just sort of getting on with it, I suppose. It's just, I'm kind of used to it now. I don't really remember a time before COVID now.
Right, no. I mean, but hitting the road, the thing that I've noticed with some of the fire brigade lads, they're getting bricks at them. I hope that doesn't happen to you guys.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've had a few incidents and whatnot, and like fireworks and stuff like that, but I mean, it's just people jumping on the bandwagon, I think, and just trying to...
I think it's amazing what you people do, and absolute love and respect with a lot of you for going that extra yard. And it's funny because when you kind of have an idea what it's like. I've only had call to use you guys on one occasion, and you were an absolute revelation. I mean, it was I'd had a nasty fire. My head was all burnt, my leg was burnt, my foot was extremely badly burnt. The fat ran into a boot and cooked the bottom of my foot, which was not a pretty thing. It wasn't pretty to start with, frankly, but it was a lot worse when you'd finished. Yeah. And you guys just tore in. I'd managed to get the hot fat out and threw it in the snow, although the kitchen was knackered. And you guys came in, where's it hurt? Well, my foot's a bit, take your boot off. Take your sock off. Oh, I'm going to have to cut your sock off. Oh, dear. And then, of course, my foot started ballooning up a skin and nasty.
Oh, God.
And you knew exactly what you had to do. All of that. Oh, but big. I mean, bigger than your foot blisters. Nasty, horrible things. And you sorted me out, took me to hospital, kept me calm. But what about the house? We'll lock it up for you. I mean, the service you provided is so overwhelming because you think... Well, they'll come on and, they'll probably just say, well, take her to the hospital. It's all the little things that you do. You know, are you all right? Are you feeling any pain? If you're feeling any pain, we can give you some. You know, it was attention to detail to the max and absolute respect. Because I don't think you realise just how badly all of that's needed until you actually need it yourself. You can see it with other people, but when it's you... Oh, blimey, I was so grateful to you guys for that. So thank you.
It makes all the difference sometimes, doesn't it?
No, absolutely. Have you ever had cause to be in your own ambulance?
No.
Let's hope it never happens. Anything else while you're on then, Tim?
No, I think it was all just about the garden thing. There was just another one where there was like a skeleton sticking out of somebody's grass, but it's so bizarre, like what people get up to. But
no,
it's
it
a
is
bit light-hearted, isn't it? So.
That is. Well, that's what we were hoping for. So thanks for coming on, Kim, and again, give a big hi to all your pals as well. Thank you very much.
Oh, no worries. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Dan. Bye-bye. Special people. Unexpected things you see. And I must admit, if that's your house in Whitley Bay with a gorilla and the tiger, if you know who it is, give them a ring and ask them to call in. I'd love to talk. I'd love to know what's at the bottom of that. Or maybe it's medical help of a different kind that they might need. Okay, let's talk to Crystal, who is in Newcastle upon the Tyne. Hello, Crystal.
Hey, Alan.
Hello, darling. What can we do for you tonight?
I just want to... First, I want to start off by saying Happy Easter.
Hey, thank you.
No problem. And I would like, before I forget, to first off do a shout out to my dad, Bill, and my uncle, Edward.
Okay, hello to them. So, what are you talking about?
I wanted to come on here and get your views on gender norms for children who are in the younger minority. So I've got a daughter myself. I know you got my email a while ago about how I've got an 8-month-old daughter.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So I wanted to get your views on parents who are in the younger minority who are raising children in today's society. What are your views on us raising kids to be comfortable within their own gender, but also wanting to express outside of it as well, wearing clothes that they feel comfortable wearing, not something that just sticks with who they were born as, but just wearing what they feel like they can feel comfortable to express.
Well, it's complex, but as a parent, I would hope that parents weren't too pushy in any direction, because when I was a kid, parents were super pushy. Yeah. Every little girl had to have a dolly. Every little boy had to have a gun. You know, it was that's a gender, that's all it is. There's no grey area, nothing in the middle. Even though, as you know for yourself, you go back something like 60,000 years, you've got people who are in that grey area in the middle. But when I was growing up, it was lads had to be lads, girls had to be girls. That was it. And I hated that, definitely. Because there was one guy at our school, I'm not going to name him, but you'll know who he is. Lovely lad. And it only became an issue, not with us, never became an issue with us, but it became an issue for him when he got to be about 15. We always knew, you know, all of his close friends always knew. We didn't talk to him about it. That was his business, you know, and we let him get on with it. He did all the things that we did, you know, played football, rugby, cricket. We went out, you know, for walks in the park and did all the stuff that kids do. But when you're a child, kids just play with other kids. To them, the kid next door is just a kid next door. It's not, oh, well, that is the child who will grow up to become a transsexual or bisexual or name any of the other subdivisions. It's just the kid next door. Let's play. Let's have some fun together. And
yeah, definitely.
I just think that kids should be left. Kids are brighter than the rest of us. You get all these people that have got an agenda. Well, I have to make this child political. He's 7. You know.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I think today's society now has got a wider understanding and a bigger concept of allowing children to express themselves and let them be who they are. Because that, I think, as well as I just want to put a trigger warning for anyone who's listening that this is going to be a bit sensitive what I'm going to talk about. But our generation now, being parents and accepting like our children for who we are and bringing them up to express that they're not, you don't have to fit into a certain category, can reduce the rate of suicide, the rate of drug abuse, alcohol abuse, needing therapy, needing counselling.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think it's more needed. But the reason why I wanted to speak about it is because I had an encounter with my sister.
Why? What happened? What happened there?
Well, she's currently 6 months pregnant, and I've got my 8-month-old daughter, and we're out up Asda and were looking at the clothes, and I liked one of the outfits in the boys section, but it didn't necessarily look boys, like a boy's outfit. It looked kind of unisex, I want to say.
Yeah.
But she didn't like the outfit, and she turned around and she said, "You're not going to put that on your daughter, are you?" And I said, "Well, it looks quite nice." And because she's got quite a dark skin complexion, I liked the colour of the outfit, and I thought it would look nice. And in that moment, because of what she had said, it kind of put us off, and I didn't want to buy it, and I didn't decide to buy it. But then a day later...
You regretted it. I bet you regretted it.
I went back, I regretted buying it, not then, but I went back and bought it, and
Right.
I've got photos, and my daughter looks lovely in it, and I sent her a picture, and she says, actually, I've changed my mind. She says, look really nice in it, and I think if people were a bit more understanding to other people's choices and not judge them based off of that, I think a lot more people could see that we could come together as a community and raise, hopefully one day raise like children in, one day a society where everyone can just be accepted for who they are and what they wear and how they express themselves doesn't necessarily see as something bad or anything as negative.
No, absolutely. The thing that I learned about my friend who, as I say, we'd grown up together. We'd been together for probably 9 years by the time he got to 15. And then he had this excruciating conversation with us all saying, I've lied to you all these years. And you think, we knew. Pretty much all. We didn't care. But we knew. And it's not a big deal. And when he realised that he'd worried for like 4 or 5 years about, well, I can't tell them, I'll be in all kinds of trouble. And it's overthinking. It's worrying unnecessarily because today most intelligent people don't have an issue. The only people that have issues with it are the daft, stupid, ignorant, not educated.
I do think, definitely. I do think it also has something to do with the people that you grow up around as well. So like your parents, the people you go to school with, your next door neighbour, the person who owns the shop down the road. I mean, you can have a small group of friends who you think will accept you, but when you've got, especially adults as well, who can be quite intimidating.
No, absolutely. You've got to be careful because they're forming who they are, and it's so easy to put a doubt in their minds. That's the thing, and they should be free to make their own choices.
I mean, because adults are impressionable, what do you say? Think that's how everyone else is going to think.
And it's not always true. Hey, good call. Yeah. Thank you very much for coming on about it. It's important, absolutely vital that we get a bit more common sense there. Thank you very much for coming on. Good talking to you, Dan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers. Bye-bye. There's Crystal. I can't argue with much of what she said. Letting kids be kids, though, I think is always a good idea. Tony Hadley, Spandau Ballet, Once in a Kilt. We forgive him for that. Here's him talking about the music. You created this new romanticism whole thing, and I mean, it absolutely worked. I mean, it was right for what was happening in the day. It's just looking back, it must be quite peculiar.
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, I think it was just a much more innocent time. I mean, we were in an era where you could still be kind of shocking. There's me wearing ballet shoes with dyed hair, looking like Robin Hood or something, and people could still be outraged by what you did. So there were innocent times and they were changing times. I mean, just through the whole of that late 70s, early 80s period, I mean, our country was going through massive sea changes, and it was just... It was different. I mean, the end of the Cold War, for instance, the Berlin Wall coming down. I mean, I was there when the wall was coming down. We did a gig that night. Through the barricades, there were people openly sobbing. It was, it was an innocent time. It really was. Band Aid, Live Aid. I mean, wow.
But the thing that I think people miss about your back catalogue, everybody talks about True and they talk about Gold and Through the Barricades. However, look at all the other stuff you do. And the thing that I think is at the root of all of this is you're not scared to take on any damn thing. I mean, the difference between chant, and the tell your muscle back. I mean, it's every kind of music imaginable. And you're saying, well, yes, I can sing a great ballad, but hang on, I can also do this. I mean, the diversity of Spandau Ballet was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, we were. I mean, in some ways that was our fortune, and in some ways our forfeit, really, because, you know, I mean, if you look at a band like Depeche, for instance, they kept very much with that kind of synth, four on the floor, kind of clubby sound, and we would change, and I think in some ways alienated our audiences several times. But then fortunately we came good again, and with True it went to #1 and in I think 21 countries around the world. So that was a bit of a sea change, to say the least, you know.
Underneath the organization to hide the family of Jesus Christ, his wife and his children, and all the things that would have totally destroyed the Christian story, because the whole story relies on Jesus dying. And if he doesn't die to save the world, then the whole thing just falls apart. So the Knights Templars apparently brought Christ's family here. These are the ancestors of Jesus, of course, at the time. And there's the grave of one of those Knights Templars here. But I want to take it the other way. If we can just go down, and actually, I think we'll come back this way because we're hearing noises this side. So let's come back because there's a few things to be seen, including something that Kenny wants to show everybody, which is just odd. It's just peculiar. You noticed it because I did a little bit of a trail run, and you said I've just seen the Grim Reaper. And when we looked at it, that is the outline of the Grim Reaper on a gravestone. It might just be me, but I took a picture earlier of it, and it just, you know, we'll see when we get down there. Have a look and see what you think. But honestly, it looks like the Grim Reaper on a gravestone. It's awful. Now, the good thing is, Kenny, that you can, I think what we should do is, in fact, why don't we do it now? Kenny, you see the path that's on the other side that goes right the way along beside the church? Yeah. You take that path and we'll meet up at the other end. Really? Go on your own. Oh, thanks. If you experience anything. He's got a mic, he's good. So we'll hear you, Kenny, but if you hear me talking, okay, try not to unless you see something that we really need to get to you for. You know that. No, we're going this way. We're going freestyle. There's a story down here that is just incredible. Oh, Ken. Yeah. Is this live? Can you just confirm? Absolutely. 100%. 100% live. We are there or here, whatever. Yeah, of course it is. There's no point otherwise. Kenny, come back. That was a mistake. We'll do that another time. Come this way. Thanks. Thanks. No, because there's something else that we have to do tonight that I've just remembered. This light's actually dragging my hat down above my eyes, and it's really irritating. So I'm taking it off for now. Some of these tombs, whoever's in them just seems to be breaking out of them. And I don't fully understand how some of these things have happened. Need your light, Ken? You need it? Yes, please. Thanks. Let's see if we can see anything here, because you guys at home caught all kinds of things that sometimes we mentioned, sometimes you guys mentioned. Let's try and stream left to right, Ken. Follow. Try and stay roughly together, then we can illuminate a much brighter, area. There's a noise across there. Where? Just next to the church there when I was walking down there. No, it seems very quiet here. And I know, thank heavens, I think most churchyards are. And there's large tombs, but some of the tombs look like people have actually tried to break out of them. Or break in. No, I think, well, possibly, but I would hope not. No. But some people say that things like this, you see that tomb here, some people say that that's the tomb of the Knights Templar, because there's a big cross on the top of it. And yet there's some controversy because a lot of people think that the actual one is something that looks rather more like that, just a little nothing of a tomb, because nobody wanted to say where the tomb of the Templar was, because the Christians might have destroyed it, because obviously they don't want anything that puts down the story of Jesus, and I can absolutely understand that. But there's a few things. Oh, this is heavyweight, and absolute love and respect to the people who have ancestors here. It's a place of peace. It's a place of. There you see. Now you see. Look at this. Ow. Look at this. Now you think, and I know you're probably going to say it's just a flower, and there's a million flowers and da-di-da, but it shouldn't be here because it's a pagan symbol. That's the thing. It's a pagan thing. So that being the case, why is it here? Or were they not believers? Or were they connected to the people, who were supporting the family of Jesus? And it could just be a flower, but they're very reminiscent. And even the building, if we light up the church from here, if you look at the way that it's been put together, it's very castle-esque. You see it's got a battlements, the windows, and you say, oh, well, they just look like every church. No, they don't. They look very much like Rosalind Chapel. And that's the thing. So many things link with the story of the Knights Templar being here. And let's go back down this way, because I think, where's that? There's an amazing story here that I have to tell you. If I can find this thing. You feeling anything, Kev?
Oh, straight, just heaviness, isn't it? Like a real foreboding heaviness.
Well, foreboding about this.
Yeah.
This.
This is the home of Alan Robson's Night Owls.
With the voice of the North.
Greatest Hits Radio.
Okay, what else are we going to talk about tonight? Remember, you're one clue in. You've got 3 more clues to come. We've already heard from Spandau Ballet and In Excess. We got more stars coming out at night. And Greatest Hits Radio Northeast. Do not forget, we have incredible games on our breakfast show. If you fancy checking out Greatest Hits Radio, we got all kinds going on and a lot of big stars. We've got Simon Mayo, part of the team now too. Let's move across to Paul, who is in Felton in Middlesex. Hello, Paul.
Hi, you had someone on earlier about covert testing.
Yes.
Right. I happen to work in one of these centres.
Right.
And people go in there on a regular basis. They do twice a week.
Uh-huh.
They do purely because if they don't do it, they can't get their jobs done.
Right. Now, this was apparently a Panorama exclusive of some kind. As I say, I didn't see the show, but it doesn't sound like it showed you in a great light.
Well, they are there for a purpose, and when you get carers going in there on say, a Tuesday and a Thursday, they've got to be tested twice a week. I mean, say, we who work there have to be tested as well.
Right. What's all this, though, about the majority of tests not being, having to be redone, rather? That was the point he was making.
No. The tests are pretty accurate. They are. The test results, the asymptomatic tests. If you haven't got anything and you go in and have the test and you're clear, you've got the result within 20 minutes.
Right.
It is. And these are the things which people need to get on with their daily lives.
Sure.
They do. And believe you me, when I hear cases of people ignoring it and what have you, I think to myself, well, hold on, these are there for a safeguard. They are. If you haven't got it, it's fine.
Right. I mean,
and they don't cost you anything.
No, we heard various stories, though, at the beginning of all of this about how the test would pick up if you've had any kind of virus, and it wasn't specific to COVID. Is that the case or not?
No. It's picked. I've heard of a couple of cases where it's picked up positives. And if that's the case, the person's got to isolate and go for a further test up the line.
Right.
They have, and stay at home and everything else. It goes to a totally different thing altogether.
Right.
It does. But however, the initial test, which is done by a lot of nursery nurses and carers and what have you.
Yeah.
Okay, it's 6 times up, 6 times in the throat, 10 times up the nostril.
Yeah.
And yes, it makes you want to gag.
Yeah.
But however, it's there for a purpose.
And there's no sign. It's funny because they seem to have a lot of vaccines now all over the world. You know, it's like usually when there's an ailment, you're lucky if you get one, full stop. There seems to be vaccines left, right, and centre all over planet Earth, and everybody's trying to sell, you know, the vaccine of the moment.
Even if you've had the vaccine, because I've had my first jab, I have. You still have these. You have them as a precaution. We get people who are coming in on a regular basis who have to go and see a relative before they go and see them. They need to have one of these asymptomatic tests.
Even if they've ended up, you know, after the second injection.
Yeah, they have it as a precaution.
Right.
They do, and you know, people use these centres are free. People use them wisely and what have you. They're there for a purpose.
Yeah, but you could go on forever because you could get a test every day just to be on the safe side. I mean, is there any end to that?
If you look at the likes of Singapore as a good example, they test every day out in Singapore.
Right, blimey.
They do, and it's clear.
Right.
The whole country is clear, is virtually clear.
Right.
It is, and this is one of the things when I hear people go on about, I've got no need to do that and what have you. Hang on a minute. COVID's not going to go away. It's not. It's here to stay. It's like the flu.
Yeah, but you don't get tested every day for the flu.
No, but this is COVID in its early stages. Eventually you will have something which you don't have to have these tests.
Right.
Eventually you will, but
not at the moment.
Not at this present minute, because the whole world is doing it.
Right.
As well as doing the vaccines, I mean to say the vaccines are working perfectly. But however, when people start going on about these tests and having it up your nose and what have you.
Yeah, but it's uncomfortable, and you wouldn't do it if you didn't have to. Surely you could.
Yeah, you wouldn't do it if you didn't have to. But when you get companies who turn around and send their staff along for it.
Yeah, I mean, this is where you get into trouble with people screaming human rights, though. They're saying, I'm doing this job. What right do they have to tell me about my own health?
Well, it's there as a precaution, because if for example, someone goes down with it, the people you're working with have also got to isolate.
Right, I hear that too. But okay, let's look perhaps 2 months down the line where we're talking that hearing lots of stories about by June, July, who knows, the bulk of the population hopefully will have had the injections, both. But you still think that even once that's the case, we'll still be testing?
I reckon you'll still be doing an injection every year.
Yeah, I could see that coming, absolutely. But still testing every couple of days for care staff? And
every testing will be done once or twice a week.
Whoa. Because it's just, if you don't do that for other things that kill you, why are we doing it for this?
Well, this is a 64,000 Boris question.
Right.
It is. And really, well and truly, we should have been doing this at the very beginning.
Right.
We should have, because testing is the main priority. I mean, see, look how well New Zealand's got out of it.
Mm.
It is. Look how well other countries. Mind you, New Zealand has always been years ahead of us on numerous things.
Yeah, and far enough away to avoid an awful lot of. I mean, they're not that close to the transatlantic kind of travel that we get, and then across Europe.
No,
and
but
America.
they've always been ahead on things like on termite treatment on pallets and things like that.
Right.
Health and transporting of goods, the whole lot. They've always been ahead, like Australia and Singapore.
Right.
But in all honesty, I mean, these test centres are there for a purpose, and
No, we hear you.
people should actually use them.
Right. No, we hear you, mate. Thank you very much for coming on, Paul.
And secondly, you're on about ghostly things.
Yeah.
A few years ago, I had to clear out my late parents' house.
Right.
And ironically, I had to fly up a couple of times and do the garden.
Right.
On a Saturday.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, right, okay, I'll fly in and I'll fly back out that night. I won't stay overnight or anything like that.
Right.
But however, when I turned around after doing the hedge, I looked in and I could see my father sitting there.
Oh, wow.
Sitting looking out, and I'm thinking, he's not there. But you know when you just look around and you see, oh my God, he is there.
Yeah. Did you go in? Did you approach him?
No. It was just a quick,
just a glimpse.
Just a glimpse, and it was like, and I said to the person who was with me, I says, I think the old man's sitting watching us.
Right.
He is, and she was like, what? And it's very strange because, yeah, we sold the house. We did. But as far as I'm aware, the people who've got the house haven't done anything to the house.
Right. Oh, it'd be interesting if they do.
And I can tell you now, I mean, to say, as a neighbour, turned around and said, if you walked in there tomorrow, you would still see the same. You would still see the same settee and the same this.
Yeah.
And I say, what?
Yeah.
You know, but it's very strange when.
I mean, did it give you any comfort knowing that he was still
It did in a way.
Yeah, good.
It did in a way because, yeah, they knew we were doing a good job of tidying up the garden for them.
Right.
Weird. Yeah. But, it's just.
No, but from somebody that works in clinical conditions most of the time and everything is scientific, to come from someone such as yourself is quite a leap, isn't it?
Yeah. It is. And, I haven't always worked in these centres. I've only just recently gone into these things. But when I thought of that, because I was chopping the hedge down, I'm thinking, my God, the old man's watching me, I can tell.
Yeah. Has he just pretended to die just so I've got to tidy his garden? That's a bit drastic.
Yeah, has he just... He's sure he's actually gone this time. But it's these things which do happen.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Hey, good.
Scare the living daylights out of you, though.
Good stuff. Paul, thank you for calling. Great having you on. Thanks, man.
It's nice to see you on YouTube.
Bless you. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Okay, take care.
Cheers, man. Bye-bye. Oh, there you go. Paul from Middlesex, now working in a COVID centre. 0191 488 3188. One clue down, and Caroline. Sweet Caroline. Or the status quo one. She was Sweet Caroline as well, come to think of it. Anyway, here we go. Hi, Caroline.
Hiya.
Hello. I hope you are sweet, and I hope you've had a lovely Easter.
I can be sweet sometimes, and I've had a lovely Easter, thank you.
Oh, good. Right, so what can we do for you?
First of all, I want to talk about the orbs and everything that I've seen on the... What was it? The one we went to the castle a couple of weeks ago?
Yes,
That was really cool. I missed last week's one, so I need to watch that.
Right, okay.
I've been a big believer in orbs and ghosts for a really long time.
Why? I mean, what was it that happened to you that made you interested in the first place then?
Pictures, like of orbs in the pictures. There was one of my daughter. She was 4 or 5.
Right.
And she was playing with her little ponies at the back door, and there's just this big white orb right next to her, and they were always next to her when she was younger.
Right, Cool. Okay. So, you now a believer. Have you seen anything yourself with your naked eye rather than just pictures?
I see things out of the corner of my eye, and I heard my name shouting before several times. That was quite spooky.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in the old house, there was always something going on. The kettle was always getting put on, doors were being closed and everything all the time.
Yeah. A common one now, apparently, is the microwave ping when you haven't shut the door and you haven't switched it on, and all of a sudden it goes ping. That's
how we turn ours off.
That's
so
a
that
current
doesn't
one.
happen.
Watch out for that. Right. Anything else?
Yeah, one of the main things is beginning of lockdown. Like first one. I was told about a book about ghosts and things like that, like a haunted story thing.
Sure.
And it was called 12, and I read it, and I've totally fell in love with the book. And he's now become a good friend of mine, the author. And he's just released one called All the King's Animals.
Right.
And I just want to help him a little bit and just...
Give him a show. What's his name?
He's called Kelvin V.A. Allison.
Kelvin V.A. Allison, and his first book was 12, and you loved it. And his new one is All the King's Animals.
Yeah, he's written over 30 books. 12 wasn't his first book, it was the first one that I read.
First one you got, right. Gotcha. But that's the one you recommended first. So those two you think we should have a look at. And then if we like the rest, we'll go down the lane.
Oh, he's absolutely amazing. And I just love his stories, like fantasy and horror stories. There's a big one called The World of Sorrows.
Right.
And it's a 10-book series. And it's absolutely amazing. And he really doesn't know how good he is. He's just fantastic. And I just want to give him a little bit of help just for the people to see how good he is, like I do.
Right. Well, happy to help. Not a worry. Thank you very much for coming on. Good talking to you, love. Thanks for ringing.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, Caroline. Bye-bye. So there you go. Caroline in Washington. The sweeter side that time. Oh, but she can be sour too. And isn't that just like a woman? And a man. We're all the same, aren't we, when it comes to that? A little bit of sugar, a little bit of vinegar. We have Caitlin, who is in Durham. Hello, Caitlin.
Hello. How are you doing today?
I'm very well. Thank you very much for asking. I hope you're well too. What can we do for you?
I would absolutely like to talk about the dangers of feeding horses.
Of feeding horses?
Yes.
Right. Explain.
So, as we are slowly coming out of lockdown, we are seeing more people walking about in the sunshine, and there's always people who like to stand by the fence and pet the ponies.
Right.
And a lot of people aren't aware of the implications that can happen when they feed a treat or anything over the fence.
Right.
And we, as the horse community, implore walkers, parents, etc., to please not feed these animals, as what you might think is kindness can kill. Because
explain. I have seen that there's some horses in the field near where I am, and even I have thought, oh, I'll have to take an apple down there. I'm sure they'd like an apple or a carrot. You know, even I've thought of that. So I hear what you're saying. But there's a sign on the fence saying some of our horses have got very particular dietary requirements, and please don't feed them. And so people have kind of stopped feeding them. But we wouldn't have known had we not seen that. What can go wrong with a carrot?
Well, you don't know what the horse's allergies are or medical conditions and how they can react to the food you might give them.
Right, I understand.
I have a friend who's sadly lost their horse recently. Her name was Libby Rose, and it was their 6-year-old daughter's pony.
Right, what happened?
Libby Rose was fine at 9:30 in the morning. At 1 p.m. she was put to sleep due to a condition called colic.
Right.
A 6-year-old's pony died because someone fed the horses over the fence, and it blocked her gut and caused her to stress out so much that she was unable to get up and had to be put to sleep at the scene.
So it's not even a question of what it is, just don't take the chance.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very much, even if it's the smallest thing, you don't know how that horse is going to react. It's very much like to people. People have allergic reactions. Horses can have allergic reactions. Horses don't have the ability to throw up either, because they do not lack the ability for anything that goes in, for anything to come out.
Right, so if it goes in, it stays in until it comes out the other end.
Yes, and sometimes it can get lodged in their esophagus and they can choke.
Right.
Choke can be extremely dangerous if untreated, and can be caused by people feeding large amounts of food or large treats and stuff.
Yeah, I understand. So basically, for anybody that's out, if you see horses or ponies in a field, yes, it's very nice that you think, "Ooh, I'll give them that." And because I've fed horses before, on farms and what have you, under supervision of the farmer, and I wouldn't have thought twice about doing it had you not mentioned it. So thank you very much. We are now educated. We will take this on. So, I mean, how have you got on with horses? I mean, have you still been able to go up there and look after them every day?
I do a college course in it, and I do work experience. Shout out to the people who I do my work experience with.
Okay.
With horses. My family obviously own horses as well. And basically the whole message is, please do not feed our horses.
Right, we'll keep our carrots to ourselves.
Like, if you are allowed to feed the horses, then you've been given the express permission of the owners that good foods such as apples, carrots, grapes, cut up into smaller chunks is great for them. But we do not want to see grass cuttings, bread, potatoes, or anything like that in the field.
Yeah,
it's not good for them.
Yeah, have a chip or a quaver, or why don't you try me flump? It's not the thing to do with horses.
No, it's absolutely not.
Absolutely. Hey, well, thank you for telling us, Caitlin. We're all the better for it. Thank you for ringing in.
Yeah, not a problem.
There you go. It isn't there. It isn't a problem. Dead easy. 0191 488 3188. I feel slightly chastised, but at fair dues, it was my carrot. It's my carrot, and I'll cry if I want to. 0191 488 3188. Anne's been on. Oh, that's always important. Anne says, I can't see COVID passports working at all. It's another way to control us, in my opinion. Pubs would have to have someone on the door all of the time, and people with some health conditions can't have the vaccine, so will be banned. Some teenagers swap IDs to get in anyway, so people might start doing that. When a pub is busy, it just wouldn't work. Loving the ghost hunts, by the way. Thank you, Anne. Great to have you with us too. Brilliant. Let us have another star piling out at night, because they do, them stars. And a band I've always loved, still do, Roxette. Talking about, the early days.
So you get one album out and then the whole world wants you. And it's almost like you're playing catch-up everywhere, because everybody wants you, everybody wants to interview you.
Yeah.
Singles are out at different times in different countries.
Yeah.
Although you'd had success in Sweden, suddenly world success is certainly a very different business thing. Did you ever just lose track of the whole thing, because it's such a big industry now, Roxette the business?
Well, we never really lost track, but it was a very, very special and crazy, in the first year. I mean, I think we did like 1,300 interviews in 8 months or something.
Wow.
People told us that, and so many. We were like all over the place, everywhere, just like you said.
Yeah,
everybody wants you at the same time.
And yet, although on a limited scale again in Sweden, people were making you have a look, not the look, but a look. This is the image of the band. And to be honest, you've maintained that image throughout. You've got this man who's mad, basically. And you've got this woman who's incredibly sleek and stylish, prancing about all over the place. Is that just you, or is this an image that you decided, or this is how it's going to be?
It's just, us. we have always, decided ourselves how we want to look like. We don't have, tons of stylists around us to tell us about how we, or record company people who tell us about how they want us to look. I mean, it's something that we really, it comes from ourselves.
Right. No pressure on you to, grow your hair, Marie. Do people not say that have a change?
Well, maybe they are, but I'm so, satisfied with how I'm looking today, and I really like my haircut. So.
There.
Where?
That one.
Oh, hang on. Well, hang on. We've got to have a look, haven't we? Get out. Wait.
Oh,
let's have a look. Now, you must never disturb these. It's the most disrespectful thing you can do. But as it's open, just wondered if there's... Oh, it goes right down. Goes right down. Do you want to come and...
Not a body there, is there?
Don't.
Don't show a body on the screen.
No, we're not.
Well, I can't see any. You can just see it goes down into a pit.
Look good. That's not. No.
If you see a hand coming out, that's the.
Don't.
That's when you need to worry. But
that's awful. Whatever.
If there was a body there, I would never have gone close to it. There's another one there. You see there?
Yeah,
and I think
open.
it's just probably time and tide.
That's
time, and that's the surface. You got to remember they're buried 6 feet below.
Yeah,
they're not in the top part at all. They're 6 foot underneath there. But sometimes, and maybe that's the reason that this is being put down, because sometimes they put tributes and what have you, and they should be left. They should never ever be touched. And if curses are real, and many people believe they are, that certainly should happen to you if you mess with them. Now, hang on. Let me just quickly tell you a quick story, too. I heard this from another historian, haven't been able to verify it at all. So it might just be a story, but it's a story that I heard, and I've found proof of the story. Okay? A man and a woman, the man very ill. He's got a lung condition. And back then there was no treatment for it. He was going to die. Simple as. So he and his wife sit down and have a chat. Now, you got to remember, this is a time when men were the bosses of the household and women did as they were told. So the two of them, he said, I don't want to wait till this kills me because I'm in such great pain. And she says, well, I can't live without you. So why don't we both end our lives together? So they got hold of some stuff from an apothecary, and he took it, and she pretended to take it, and he died, and she inherited everything that he had and went on to live with another man. And the story goes that from the other side of the grave, the spirit came back to destroy something that the wife had done for him. The wife had a grave built that had his face on and her face side by side. But because she cheated and went with another man, they say the devil or the spirits destroyed the faces so that they looked as ugly as they truly were. And I found the grave. It's here. The man and the woman's faces were side by side, and now they're ugly. How about that? Something. I'll take mine away so maybe you can see a little bit clearer. How about that? Just a horrific story of its sort, and just one of a number across here. Right, let's move along. Let's do a scan. We want people to be able to see if there's anything here.
I get kind of, the problem is because I've stared at the camera.
Yeah. Your eyes
My,
go.
my
Yeah.
eyes go, so I can't really see terribly well. So I just hope that someone somewhere.
I saw a blue orb behind your hat.
Really?
Yeah, up to the mic.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, did I just plug it?
Yeah.
Sorry,
No,
man.
a few people saw a blue orb behind you.
Right. That's a start. I want more than that, though. I'd love some. If there's anyone here, please come out and join us. I would love to think you would.
I wouldn't.
Right. No, that's the reason we're here.
I know, but
we're here, so let's.
Yeah.
Come on, come out. Even the trees just seem to look.
You can see all the writing on the gravestones and everything on a night time much better, can't you? Look at that.
1780 age, 65. That's a hell of an age for somebody. For somebody that of that time, where the average age for a lot of people are like 32, 35. Amazing. Let's do a scan again. Let's look around. Make sure nobody's coming out of any of these graves.
I keep hearing little voices in the background. Can you not hear that?
I didn't catch it, mate. I didn't catch it. What noise did you hear when you were up beside the?
It was like a thud kind of thing just next to the church as I was walking. That's why I didn't really want to walk further down there. It was,
I understand. We've got a number of
when you're by yourself.
Of gadgets with us. One of them is a thermometer and Gauss meter. And I'm just going to. Oh, what was that?
I don't know.
Was that you? Might have been you.
Might have been.
Let me just switch it on.
It's. How was that? You just get skitsy, don't you, when you sort of.
I think the one thing that a few
like
people
this.
mentioned the last time that we were here was that because we talk, and this is the problem. What was that?
Oh, I don't know what that was. Did you hear it?
Oh, I heard something.
What was it?
Just right next to here. Or something here.
What was it? Did you hear it, Tony?
I definitely heard a rustling or a. It was loud. That was loud.
I didn't catch it. They say this is the problem, and I talk too much. Shut the flip up, because we want people at home to hear too. Because these mics are particularly good. They'll pick stuff up. Was it rustling? Was it people moving or?
Some. Hard to tell, really.
Right. Let's do more, but quieter, maybe. You're quite right. You know, during the day, you can't read any of these stones.
No, you can't.
And some of them are just so worn. Oh, there's your gravestone, Kenny.
Yeah.
Go and tell them the story of what you saw.
I mean, literally, you can see it. It's an outline. To me, can you see it? It looks like the Grim Reaper. Not with the torch. You've got to take it off it.
Yeah.
But there you are. There's a grave. Someone's grave. There's a clear outline there.
Silhouette.
It's silhouette with the hood, and even the feet and the cloak and like the you know, it looks like the whole outline of the Grim Reaper. It just does.
And it's just totally natural, I think. I think
it's natural.
I think it's just coincidence.
It's one of them things, isn't it?
If you were going to maybe show like a horror film like The Nun, you would imagine that would be a grave.
Yeah.
It would look something like that. Just, it is spooky, man. It is absolutely spooky.
Looks like a knight, someone said.
Oh, wait, hey, who
that
knows?
could be right.
Oh,
Like,
that
be a Knights
is
Templar.
actually a good shout.
Didn't think of that.
That is a good shout.
That's it, yeah.
That's a good shout.
Some looks like a knight as well, but a white knight.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
When you do
that's
that.
spooky.
A white knight.
A white, well, we'll tell you, anything works. A white knight.
And yet these are just not, maybe it's something, if you think about it, let's say, just for sake of argument, and forget your religious beliefs, just for a tick, imagine that the Knights Templars did help out the family of Jesus, and they were working for Jesus. Now, you might think Jesus was the Son of God, but let's just say, for sake of argument, that he wasn't. Well, maybe they helped him, and nature somehow hooked into the whole thing. I don't know. It's just fascinating. What was that? You heard something?
Definitely heard something across there.
Do a troll. Left or right again?
Them 3 points above the bottom three. Rangers have set up a fourth round tie with Old Firm rivals Celtic in the Scottish Cup after a 4-0 victory over Cove Rangers. Manager Stephen Gerrard says with the Premiership title wrapped up, this competition is now their priority.
We were happy with the home draw to come out, and obviously it being Celtic now makes it even more interesting. Be a tough game, tough challenge, but one we're very much looking forward to.
And Cambridge recent dominance of the boat race continued with victory over Oxford. From Sky News, I'm Richard Newman.
Thank you, Richard. Alan Robson with your Greatest Hits Radio Northeast. And let's get talking to you after you get your second clue. 4 clues to win you the legendary Night Owls mug, courtesy of Cash for Kids, of course, charity that does an awful lot of good. So if you'd like one of these things, you can certainly buy them as well. Just make inquiries. Our team will gauge you in that direction. However, if you'd like to win one, 4 clues to 4 songs. Those 4 songs have one thing in common. What is it? Wait till you hear the 4th clue before answering. First clue, when you buy anything in a shop, they put the money in one. If you buy anything in a shop, they put your money in one. In one what? Second clue, the lawn outside your house is this. The lawn outside your house is this. Okay? 2 clues down, 2 more clues to come. I think the 4th clue will give it away, but I think I'll keep you guessing till then. So 2 clues down, 2 more to come, and Davy is with us from West Monkseaton. Hi, Davy.
Hello, Alan. How are you doing?
I'm very well. Thank you for calling in. What are you talking about tonight?
Yeah, with all the ghost stories as well. Just got back into listening to when you did Newcastle.
All right.
I just wonder if you've ever been to Dalston Hall in Cumbria.
I haven't. Tell me everything about it.
Right. It's a bit of a strange one because I'm a bit of a skeptic still.
Right.
But I went over there to a wedding. It was my best man. My best man's daughter was married over there.
Right.
So we tottled over there in the afternoon. We just went straight in. We didn't even check in. We went and did the wedding. Had a few drinks afterwards, a meal, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
Got to the disco, and later on that night we thought, we better check in. So off we went, decided to check in.
Yeah.
And we were shown to the room. So off we went up this staircase, and I don't know if you know the history of Dawson Hall, but it's a 15th century peel tower.
Oh wow, great!
Which we knew nothing about it. So off we went to go, took up this stone staircase. So imagine if you had a few drinks trying to get up the staircase with a real banister, my wife's just pointing out.
Yeah.
So we went into this room, and there was my wife was just in absolute horror. I've never seen a like it. I had a look around. I was astonished. You're looking at these like 3-4 foot walls thick. And it's like covered in the end.
Uh-huh.
And I went in the corner and she said, "Don't go in there." Well, the girl who showed her the room couldn't get out of the place quick enough. She disappeared.
Right.
Just completely.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, I wanted to look in this cupboard, and my wife saying, "Don't go in there." She was absolutely at her wit's end.
Yeah.
And I went to have a look outside, and I was intrigued. I mean, not very often you get to places like this.
Sure.
So I went off onto the staircase. She says, "Don't go down there." She says, "Whatever's down there is evil." I'm what? I mean, she's in tune with the spirit world. She always has been.
Right.
But I'm still a bit of a skeptic.
Sure.
So anyway, we went on with the rest of the night. Then we went in, we closed the door, and everything seemed to calm down in the room. This, that, and the other. So gets up next morning, did the usual thing, breakfast, went home.
Right.
So I looked the place up. and I was really, really horrified, to be honest with you. It was on twice on a well-known program.
All right, yeah.
On TV.
Sure.
And on the second one, they were in the room where we were, and exactly the place where I was lying, and exactly the place where my wife had said. The guy on there said it was the only place he'd never been. He's been to where he couldn't stay there all night.
Oh, how about that? So your wife got it spot on. Well done, her.
She did. She was absolutely terrified. I've honestly never seen her like that, and she still talks about it today.
So, okay, her having that experience and it being seen to be true, does that not make you more intrigued?
Well, I mean, little did I know that my best man, Dave, he's in tune with that thing. And last time we were up there, he lives up in Rothbury now.
Right.
The pair of them were sitting having a chat, and it does, but I'm one of these people who've got to
You've got to see it for
evidence.
yourself. No, I get it.
Yeah, I mean, when you did the Tanfield Railway, to be honest with you, I did hear the voices when you got the back of the cars.
Right.
It was, but I've got to see it to believe it, sort of thing.
No, I get that, and I've met a lot of people who they're open to it, but it's got to happen to them. It can't happen to other people. It's got to happen to them, otherwise they'll never really truly understand or accept. Get it? It's not an issue.
My wife's just done about another one there when we went to Durham Cathedral, and she put a prayer there for a gran with a candle. Somewhere over the rainbow she put.
Right.
And they read these out at 11 o'clock in the morning. So I went outside, and what was there? A rainbow.
There you go. Boom.
Bizarre.
But then again, you're going, it's just coincidence. Wet day, yeah.
But yeah, it's I'll say to believe it. But if you get a chance, get yourself over there.
Yeah, I've written it down. Thank you very much. Interesting. Good talking to you. I promise you, this week we'll be contacting them. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, you as well. Cheers.
Cheers, man. Bye-bye. Davey in West Monkseaton, and Tony, can you make sure you contact, again, Dalston Hall, Cumbria. Let's do that. Ooh, I'm in the mood for a peel tower. Yes, please. Right, let us move to North Shields. We've got David there. Hello, David.
Hello, Alan. How are you doing?
I'm all right. Good to hear from you. What would you like to talk about tonight, then?
Well, a couple of things. So obviously I've mentioned on a couple of times on your show about me having my own little home help business.
Yes, that's right. How's it going?
Yes, it's going all right. I've got another job as well, so I've got two jobs.
Busy man.
So I'm working for a friend because she's got a cleaning business.
Right.
And obviously I'm still running my own little business as well. So her job is like a little bit extra security for us.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt. Absolutely get what you can these days.
Yeah, that's it. So obviously I've had a customer had to let us go because obviously of the COVID guidelines and that.
Right.
But obviously I'm still looking for a couple of more clients when I'm not working at my other job.
Right.
So
are you managing? Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm managing really good. But obviously, I know it can be very, very tricky for everybody to get through the pandemic as well.
Absolutely.
Not just working and that.
No, it's tough with so many people losing their jobs. There's not jobs for the people that were already looking for them, if you know what I mean. It's a tough time.
I mean, obviously, I'm quite one of the few lucky ones as well, because obviously I've got autism and mental health. So obviously, my boss is getting support from access to work from the job centre.
Oh, I see.
So obviously, it's like a grant, so they pay her
to make sure that they give you some work, which is great. It is good. Because when you said, I'm one of the lucky ones, I've got autism, I was thinking, blimey, that's not how many people would phrase it, but I understand what you meant by it.
Yes, yeah, that's what I meant in general.
I understand. That's all right. So, bottom line is, you're doing pretty well, but you could do with a couple more clients.
Yes, that's pretty much it. But obviously, I know eventually I will find that work at some point.
Of course you will. So as soon as things start getting closer to normal, and we're not far away from it now by the, they're making all the right noises anyway, aren't they?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Also, Alan, the other subject as well, I previously invited you on my show for an interview.
You did.
I was wondering, did you get my email?
I'm not sure that I did. I don't know whether Tony did. I'll have a word with Tony and see what he said, but I'm up for it. It's not a problem. We'll
Right,
find a day.
I mean, obviously, I have been speaking to Tony on, obviously, on Messenger, so...
Right.
Obviously, he did advise us to, like, check it up with you as well, just to make sure.
Fine. Well, Tony, I'm definitely up for that, and we'll do it maybe one night while we're here, perhaps, if you fancy coming up and having a chat. No worries. But you can't come in at the present moment due to all the COVID stuff. But once we get past that, we'll make sure that it happens.
Right. So if I sort that out with Tony,
absolutely.
Right.
He'll keep you. He keeps me right, so he'll keep you right as well. All right.
Absolutely lovely. Thanks very much, Alan.
All the best. Bye bye. There's David in North Shields, and I think we have Steph lurking in the darkness. Steph in Stockton. Hiya, Steph.
Hiya, Alan. You all right?
I'm good. Thank you very much for joining us.
No problem.
What's your topic tonight, then?
It was just basically about what everybody said tonight about just your show. It's just brilliant. I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
Good. Thank you very much for being part. Appreciate it. Thank you.
And that whole sapphire thing, oh my goodness.
It caused a thing. I wasn't even aware it was a thing till I watched the show myself.
Well, I wasn't. It was on the supporters thing. I was reading it, and then I was like, I wonder what the hell that was. And then when I went back and checked it, I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It was quite a shock. But it was interesting what that lady was saying when she was saying about the ring and stuff.
Yeah, and again, whether or not it has anything to do with that, because as I say, somebody the following day had said on one of the forums, it wasn't sapphire, it was set fire. Set fire, because the castle was burnt. They burnt a hole in the door, and ultimately they would go in there. And then if you go earlier, we were talking about Vikings in Viking graves and stuff, and you think setting fire. But then again, if they were Vikings, they wouldn't say set fire. They'd say in Viking set fire, if you know what I mean. So it's just mind blowing, because it could go in any direction, couldn't it?
Oh yeah. And also, what I was thinking about when I was watching it, you know, when you were up the top and you were listening for things, and I think it was Tony keep saying he was hearing things in the bushes.
Yes.
Can you remember that bit?
Yes.
Well, wasn't it down? You were saying those were used to bowl the big stones and stuff down the bank.
They
so
did.
I was thinking maybe
Absolutely.
it could have something to do with that.
Maybe. You see, at first I heard this noise, and it was kind of. I know it's hard to know what you guys got coming through the microphones.
Yeah.
But to me, there was kind of a, and then almost a, and it's weird little. And at first I was like, well, it's a bird, isn't it? It's a bird. But then you think, well, if a bird's burst out of a tree or something, or birds, it would have to be more than one. Well, here you'd see them. Because they're birds, and you got torches. It's not like our torches are like little pencil things. They're you know, you can see into the next county with the damn thing. They're pretty good. So it wasn't that, and I don't know any bird that goes. If they've got really big feet and they're standing on a drum, you know, it would have to be that. So not sure it was. But yes, they did. The people of the town tried to help from a distance, but they didn't want to get stabbed, so they stayed up the top of the hill. But never crossed my mind that it could have been that. It was just we got a lot of kind of
it was awesome
oddness from there. Absolutely.
I put in the comments as well about when Tony got hurt on the back, and he was saying, "Oh, me back."
Yeah, that was Kenny.
Kenny, sorry, I apologise about that.
Right.
I was just wondering if anybody actually checked his back, because I've seen on the different shows and what have you, sometimes the marks can come up.
Right. No, absolutely. I've had over the years that we've done kind of weird and strange things, we've had scratches before under your clothes, and you think, well, if that was like a tree branch or a thorn or something, there'd be a mark on your shirt or something, or there'd be a hole in there or something. So we've had a bit of that. The one thing that I didn't want on Thursday night was to ask Kenny to undress. It's kind of high on my list to just keep your clothes on.
True, I'm sure it would have been a bit chilly as well.
Kenny and I once, and this was, I'll have to talk to him about this next time I see him. Kenny and I once, the very first time we went up to do a show in and around Loch Ness, and it wasn't about the monster, it was about the castles around Loch Ness
I'd love to go.
that were haunted, because there's about 4 or 5 around it's massive loch, obviously, and they got 4 or 5 castles around them. So we were doing shows, and when we did the last show, we both skinny dipped in Loch Ness. And after that day, I never want to see him naked again. It's just as simple as that. That's just how it is. It was one of those things that, because Loch Ness was always a place that I wanted to go to, and the shows went pretty well, and we were just letting off a little bit of steam, and we said, do you think we dare? Because, first of all, if the Loch Ness Monster was really peckish, to have 2 unwrapped in his loch, you know...
Gosh.
There was a chance there. The funniest thing was, though, the following day, we were mucking about, having a plodge before we came home, because we stayed overnight, like a B&B thing there. And when we were coming back, we said, let's go for a plodge, because it was a hot day. So we went down to the place where we skinny dipped, which was just across from like the boarding place where we were staying. And he kicked over a stone, and an eel about 9 feet just swam out from the... And you're thinking, I was in there with me willy out in the middle of the night, and there's a 9-foot eel down there. Blimey. Because you think, hey, the odd fish, nah. But an eel, and it was black and cheapest. No, I've remained fully clad since that very moment.
I don't blame you. Well, I was wanting to ask also, have you ever done a ghost hunt at Teignmouth Castle?
The Priory, yes. Yeah. We've done a couple there, and a few, because what we decided to do for that one was invite 30 people.
Yeah.
It's too many.
Yeah.
Truthfully, I hate the big ones where there's loads of folk, because everybody clacks, and you don't know what noise is coming from who. However, I tried to separate everybody out in twos, because we had not just the Priory, we had the Coast Guard station, and a number of rooms in there, and we also had the cemetery that's outside. So it was a sizable area right on the top of the hill, and 2 or 3 people all came running down all at the same time. And too many for it to be a coincidence. And they all said, we've just seen what we think was a monk walking along this part of and up the tower at that side. And the people at the top of the tower said, oh, is that what it was? We saw something black come in. Wow. So that was quite cool.
Smashing.
But I saw zip. But at least they saw. So this is the thing. If you're on your own and it's quiet, you can get a gist of what's going on, and you can feel stuff. When you flood the place with people, it's hard. It's just
exactly. But people feed off people, don't they? So
yeah, and this is the thing, because if one person says, "I've just seen a monk," and somebody just saw a black shape. Suddenly in that person's head they go, oh, it was a monk. And then for the next 5 years they're saying, I'll never forget that monk I saw. You're quite right. If somebody jumps, the person next to them jumps, and they don't even know why they've jumped until it's explained, and then they'll tell all their friends. Yeah, I really jumped. I saw. So you've just got to be careful and fairly sure of what you see. But the great thing about us being able to take you guys with us is you often see stuff that we don't see, which is great.
Thing is, though, obviously, I heard you saying earlier on about emailing in to, say that you'd like to come on the ghost hunt.
Absolutely.
I'm empathic. God, I had to enunciate there. Empathic. So I pick up things through, obviously, the environment and being around people, so I can offer you that service if you'd like it. Well,
empathy is always a good thing. No, I'm absolutely in. You see, I don't want people necessarily that I am a total believer, and I don't particularly want, well, I'll never believe it no matter what you do.
Yeah.
I just want ordinary people that whatever the background they come from, if they want to come on a trip, and we've got one, and you're free, and it sounds like it's a fit, because we try and get people to fit the place rather than the place fit the people, because it's better that way. But let's start creating a log, and we'll work our way through and try and get everybody a trip.
I'm sure you'll have loads and loads of people to be on.
I absolutely hope so, and why not?
Oh gosh, I'm sure you will.
Because people don't. I've looked around at what's out there, and there's very few people do even the history of the place. It's just like I've just turned up, and you think, whoa, hang on a second. Why would you be here? Why would you just rock up to an old warehouse and say, well, there's bound to be ghosts here, so let's look. But hey, that's the way that they do it. Good luck to them. I'm not knocking them. It's just we thought, let's do it properly, involve people, and get as many people out there as we can. And the other thing that I'd like to do at some point, because if people have got iPhones, say, they could be somewhere completely different. Call us while we're live, and we can put them live.
Oh, that would be awesome.
How good is that? Well, that means we could technically, because on a couple of occasions we broke the world ghost hunting record, which at the time was something like getting, I think the first one was 1,600 people in 400 places all at the same night, which is amazing. But I'm sure it's probably like 3,000 or 4,000 now. But we could do it. We could do that. Blame me. Once we get built up, And how could you imagine how busy that night? We'd be there about 8 hours live, and we got another one coming in. But why not? And anything's possible. Anything's possible.
Yeah. I'm sure you'll make it.
We'll try.
Positively.
Not me for the one to try and Steph. But thank you very much indeed, and make sure you do make contact with us and send an email in, and we'll put it on file and hopefully work our way through. Thanks, Steph.
Thank you. Night now.
Cheers, love. Bye bye. Steph wants to come, and she's empathic. Yeah, there you go. No, you see, we get some people that claim that they can feel things. And who doesn't like a girl that feels things? 0191 488 3188. Caitlin is next, and Caitlin's in Ashington. Hi, Caitlin.
Hiya.
Hello, darling. What can we do for you tonight?
Well, I've been told one of the topics is you're getting old when, and my recent one is I know I'm getting old when I go to soft play with my friend and our kids, and I'm still aching 4 days later.
That is the most honest thing, because loads of people, they go, I'm going to, and I'll tell you a story about a guy. He was always going on about, I go to the gym 3 times a week. I'm really fit. I'm on the running machine. I'm on the bikes. I do the rowing, do a bit of lifting, and always bragging about how fit he was. And then we decided we were going to have a kickabout with a football, something I hadn't done for years. I loved it, because I used to love my football, playing it more than watching it. And we played football for about 10 minutes. And he was on his stomach. And you're thinking, blimey. But after we did the recent ghosty thing, the following day, and it was funny because I gave Kenny a lift back down from up the Scottish borders. I gave him a lift down to Tyneside. He had to stay in the back, and he had to be masked up, and all the necessary precautions. But gave him a lift back, and got him home safe and sound. And the whole idea of keeping the vibe kind of going, because he just wanted to go fast asleep. And when he got out the car, it was kind of like, and I thought, poor old thing. And then I got home, and I got out the car, and it was, it's like, hey, we've had a lovely night. What did you do for the last hour? Well, it took us 40 minutes to get out the car. I mean, that's just totally ridiculous. But you can't help it. If you're on your feet a long time, I don't know how people, these people that work in supermarkets and they're standing up the whole day, don't know how they do it. I truly don't, because if ever I do it, I'm I'm having problems for the longest time. But hey-ho. I suppose we're talking about things that come with age, but hey-ho. Anything else?
Whenever I go to soft play, my friends' 2 kids, they're always like, Auntie Caitlin, I'll race you to the top. And then while I'm racing them to the top, they'll be pulling my hair, shoving us to the side, elbowing us and everything. I'm like, that's not fair.
No, I think it's great that people get involved with it. It's the thing that never happened to me when I was a kid. My parents never played football. They never ran. You know, they just, there's other kids. Go do that. And I think parents that get involved and have a go and do all the daft stuff. I used to see other people's parents doing that with their kids and kind of thinking, well, what have I done wrong that my parents don't, do daft stuff? Because that's part of the fun of it. You know, if you're knocking around with bairns, it's an excuse for you to become a child again, isn't it?
I know, that's what I always say. I'm like, I'm not being childish. I'm just helping the kids have fun.
That's your excuse, and I'm going back in the ball pool. See you there. Absolutely.
Well, one of the places we used to go to, it closed thanks to this pandemic.
Uh-huh.
It had one of those tube slides.
All right, yeah.
And there was one time, I think it was the last time I went, the kids were like, come on, you need to go down that. I went, can an adult fit inside that? Will I get stuck? Am I going to get to the bottom safely? But I managed fine. I was like, oh, well, it's just a normal slide.
Right. I think you do have to be careful, though, because I know somebody that went on a kid slide and was a bit heavy for it. And where the join is...
Did it come away?
It came away a little bit, and it took about 1.5 inches of buttock off him. You know?
Oh, God.
Well, I think I've hurt myself. And when he looked around, there was 1.5 inches of his trousers missing, his jeans, an 1.5 inches of underwear missing, and just a red bit. You don't want to see a red bit through your trousers. Ooh, definitely not. Hey, but great talking to you. Thank you very much, Caitlin. Great as ever. Thank you for calling.
Bye.
Cheers, love. Bye-bye. I've been sent a ghost photo. We'll be going to that very, very soon. Quick track. In the meantime, we've got to take a quick break. Also, Paul Carrick of Making the Mechanics and his solo stuff. But you've got to remember, his first band was called Ace. Their track's being used in an advert at the moment, and it sounds as good now as it ever did. I talked to him about stuff. Blimey, you've been everywhere, man. Everywhere.
Well, I don't know how it happened, to be honest with you, but fortunately the phone would ring every now and again.
Great.
I live round the corner from a studio in London called Eden Studios, where a lot of the bands used, and I would often get that call about 10:30 or 11 o'clock when the pubs were rolling out, and they'd say, couldn't just pop up and put a bit of keyboards on this for us, could you? So that happened quite a bit,
No, absolutely. I mean, the whole bumping into or getting contacted by a member of Genesis who's forming a new band, and then you're thinking, I haven't been with this band before. This is one of the funniest things I ever heard. I was in a club doing picking up a check for a charity, and Silent Running came on in the background, and the club chairman walked past just as the chorus was going, and he went, "Can you hear me, mother?" I just thought, maybe he's from a different decade, maybe that made more sense to him. And that track that we promised you.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that?
Someone shouted.
Someone shouted. But that was more of a scream, I thought.
It was.
Left or right, Ken?
Let's listen.
Left or right? If that was you screaming, come to us. Come to us. That's weird, though, that thing there, because... Oh, there it is. There it is. It's a shadow of the grave.
It's a shadow of the grave.
Yeah. You see it better with your torch.
Yeah.
Oh, look down here. I mean, even without the torch, knock the torch off. I don't know how much of that you can see, Tony, but the church is lit.
Off the moon, is it?
No, I think it's the
that's
orange light
dark.
that's in the courtyard.
That's dark.
I was thinking the moon would have to be really low for that one.
Nice clear night as well with all the stars, look. Isn't it?
Absolutely. Oh, hang on. Just a cotton picking minute. We've missed something, haven't we?
Have we?
Yeah, we got to. Where's that? There's a Viking grave.
I think is that not further up? Is it
Yes,
further
I
up?
think it must be. There's a Viking grave here. Now, are you sure?
Oh no, it might be further down this way.
Ken,
No, I think it's
go
further
check
that
it
way.
out. I think it's.
Oh, I've got to check it out by myself.
Yeah, please. Give us a
Really?
shout if you find it, though.
Thanks. Oh man.
No, it's Greek.
Is it?
Now, it's really funny that you should mention that gravestone because a lot of people have said that the grave of the Knight Templar is in this cemetery, and it is. And they say, oh, we think it's the one with the cross on it. Others say, no, it's a small, tiny little
Yeah, it's
tomb
here.
up against the far wall. But I think it's this. I think it's this. Hello, Mr. Ogg. Do you want to say hello to the hedgehog? I can see his little scrunchy nose. Hello. Oh, he's tired. I'm not going to disturb him. Maybe he's watching over the grave of the Knight Templar. Just for it to be written in Greek at a time when no one from that part of the world came here.
It's tiny as well.
Because they didn't want it to be disturbed or defiled. That's my thought. I mean, hang on, Kenny's down the bottom, so let's see what he's got. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, no problem. The Vikings, of course, ravaged this coast, left, right, and centre. Oh, there it is. Let Tony get in without the torches just for a second. See how well you can see that.
It's better without the torches. Yeah.
You can see the skull, and beneath it, do you see what that is? Can you make it out?
Cross.
No, it's crossbones. It's crossbones. And some people say that the crossbones symbolize the shears that took his life away. Now, when you look at graves with skulls and crossbones, you instantly think, well, obviously it's a pirate. Well, when anybody died of the plague, they got the skull and crossbones. This particular one is a Viking. And there was a depiction of his longboard at the side that is now weathered and worn away. But that was a skull and crossbones. But what they don't tell you is that thousands of graves across Scotland have a skull and crossbones, and they're not pirates and they're not plague victims. The Scots just thought it looked cool. So they did it. So it's not quite as wow as it should be. Now, let's go to that place where we heard the noises before. That's something worth doing. So let's do that.
The voice of the North.
Alan Robson's Night Owls, the phone-in that gets you talking.
Greatest hits radio.
So, we've been talking about signs that you're not as young as you used to be. You can tell that old age is creeping upon you. The kind of things that changed in your world that had a major effect on you. That's the kind of stuff we're after. We also want amazing things you've ever seen. We mentioned the badger running out in front of the car the other night. And the reason I mentioned amazing things, I don't know whether you saw, in California, there was a guy in a boat in the middle of something that I didn't even know happened, a dolphin stampede. over 1,000 dolphins, all just zipping as fast as they could through the water past this boat. How amazing would that have been? So if you've seen any cool things, we just want to know what they are, because we're neppy. We got Graham, who's in Heaton, who's just sent me a photograph. Hi, Graham.
Hello, Alan.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's very well, thank you very much. Thanks for sending me the picture. Tell me everything about it. What the hell? I'm seeing a strange pink mixture of all kinds of things. Tell me the story about it.
I don't know. I'll start from the beginning. I've lived in my grandma's flat for about 10 years. 10 years now.
Right.
I've always said I've felt something every night. I ask for questions.
Right.
And when it's a yes, it makes us... It's a weird feeling. When I say yes, it comes through us. When I say no, nothing happens. It's went on for years and years. No one's believed us.
Right.
And I had a spiritualist in about 2 years ago who, when they walked in, said straight away, I can see your grandma at the top of the stairs.
Right.
Like, oh, right. But that's all I've felt and seen so far. And since I've started watching your stuff on a Thursday night,
right,
ghost hunts, I've started digging. Basically, I woke up the next day and I seen this picture on my phone. I hadn't touched it, you know.
And that picture came up on your phone, whatever that is.
That come up on my phone. My girlfriend was next to it, she can vouch, you know, it was so weird.
Because the first time I saw it, and this is going to sound weird, but first of all, I kind of stood back from it and thought, is that curly thing on the right-hand side a close-up of your ear? But your face would have to have serious wounds for the rest of it to actually work. Where the back of your head would have to have a hole in it, and I'm fairly sure it doesn't. It's a bizarre-looking thing, though.
I know. That's something. That's what I had to send to yourself.
And it just came up on your telephone. You didn't take any pictures. You wake up in the morning and that's there.
That's there.
I tell you what, Tony, I don't know whether we could send this out or show it or whatever. Do whatever you can with that damn thing. Send it out there. Let everybody have a look at it. Maybe some of the... Oh, there you go. Maybe some of the... That's just the thing that cropped up on the phone. Now, can people see my mouse if I wave it across the top of it or not, Tony? Can it see me? Can people see my mouse or not? Well, if you lift it in front of the camera. No, right. Well, no.
But it gets even better because because of the truth. I'm not just saying this. Again, we're plugged into yourself on Thursday night.
Yeah.
I've got two lights. I've got a light beside the telly where you touch it 3 times. You know, one of them lights that goes light, then light.
All right. Yes.
So I touch that and the bulb pops.
Oh.
So I think, well, that can happen. So it goes to my grandma's old light, the tall one, the lamp, should I say, standing right up. I turns that on and that pops.
Oh, that's too much of a coincidence, but wow.
Well, that's what I'm thinking, Alan. Yes.
Yes. So if anybody has any idea what and people can't see my mouse on the screen was the question I was asking. He's saying, can people see your mouse? And he says, if you hold it up in your hand. No, that's not quite what I meant. But anyway, have a look at the picture, see what you think of it, and just mention what you think it could possibly be. Right. Anything else while you're on then, Graham?
No, that's what you started to see what was going on. Is that what you reckon?
I don't know what it is. It's a puzzlement because it doesn't. It could be a face. It could be a small child. Because there looks like there could be a head facing left with a hair at the back and an arm coming down with a hand and a leg at the bottom. It could be a number of things. We'll see what the night owls make of it. But thanks for sending it in anyway, Graham.
Yeah, just last one. These spiritualists. What do you think of these spiritualists? You know, when you get readings off them, what's your opinion on them?
Spiritualists. The spiritualist church I've got plenty time for. I'm not a Christian, but the stuff that they do with spirit's really interesting, and some are excellent and some aren't. Out of the people that charge you for it, only ever met a couple that I would even think about spending a penny with, if you know what I mean.
Right.
So you got to be really careful. Listen to what other people have said about them, and then make your own mind up.
Right. That's great. Alan.
All right.
No problem.
Thanks, mate. Take care. Cheers, Graham. There is Graham Ghost Photographs. But we're very fortunate because we're off to Chester Street now, where we find Bill, who's seen a strange thing. Hiya, Bill.
Hi, it's more humorous than strange, really.
Oh, it's even better. Do share.
It's just a brief anecdote.
Okay.
I was down south in Kent on my holidays.
Right.
I was staying with my cousin. We were both teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
The day started with me aunt giving us seconds of thick porridge laced with golden syrup.
Oh, there you go.
My cousin had a paper round, so we set off up the street.
Right.
Got to the main road. I hid round the corner because he wasn't supposed to have help.
Right.
He got the papers. We headed off across the road to where the paper round started.
Right.
Now we're just coming to the back lane where it started, when what came towards us with this little lamb trotting along. It must have just been a month old or 6 weeks.
Wow.
Well, immediately we called it Larry the Lamb.
Wait, yeah, it has to be done.
I left my cousin with the lamb and went down the lane to see where it could come from. There was no trace of any source for it at all. So I came back and we started the paper round. I was holding the lamb. I felt its heart pounding against it.
Wow.
And my cousin was delivering the papers. We inquired with people where it could come from, but nobody knew.
Right.
So eventually we finished the paper round and headed back. Now, we decided to take the lamb to the police station.
Right.
We got there, the sergeant behind the desks took our details. And what happened to the lamb was it was put behind bars in a cell.
And it was an innocent lamb, I'm guessing.
Aye.
Right.
But we saw it trot into this behind bars in a cell. Now,
I'd be surprised though if it couldn't step out between the bars, being as small as it was.
It was a bit fatter than that, but I came back north and my cousin was interviewed about the story and
excellent.
it appeared in the local paper.
Yeah.
But, it was sent to a farm nearby, but
how about that? It makes you wonder where the hell it came from, though.
no trace of it at all. Never found out.
Wow.
But there's another thing I want to remind you of.
Oh, go on then.
A couple of years back, I was on about the Lambton worm.
Yes.
I claimed it was one of them Holy Land River crocodiles.
Yes, a gharial.
You call them a gharial, do you?
That's what they are. If you're talking about like the Egyptian ones,
I don't think you agreed, but I still think it must have been
could have been
one of them long, slender crocodiles.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the only thing that makes any kind of sense. If he came back from a foreign war and we're talking the Holy Land,
aye.
What else have they got that's remotely like that could grow to any size?
Oh well.
Yeah, I've come round to your way of thinking.
Can you remember the last time we were talking about it?
It was a long time. We're talking years and years ago now.
Well, I would say 2 or 3, I think.
Yeah, I would say at least, possibly a bit longer.
I'm pleased to be on your show again. And
I'm glad you rang. Thank you very much.
I've just found you recently.
Good. It's good to be found. Thank you very much. Cheers, man. Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
All the best. There you go. No, I remember that. And I remember looking up, the whole point that I knew the name of the crocodile was because after he'd talked about it, a crocodile from the Holy Land, I looked them up and there's a crocodile-esque creature that's got, it's like a crocodile, but it's got a very narrow mouth. Very narrow kind of thing. It's called I'm fairly sure it's a gharial. It is a gharial. 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 There you go. There's a hint of Attenborough in there. Battling to get out. We got Russ, who's in Washington. Let's head in that direction. Hi, Russ.
Hello, big bunny lad. How you doing?
I'm all right. Good to have you with us. What are you talking about?
I'd just like to go back to Gharial.
Yeah.
You're both right. Your Gharial is a freshwater crocodilian.
Right.
But the biggest in the Nile is obviously the Nile
crocodile.
You know,
yeah.
That'll make a mess of anything that you come across.
For sure. It's just when we're talking about the Lambton worm in the song. he caught a fish upon his hook, and he didn't know what it was, so he hided doing the well. Wish lads had your gobs, and off you go. So he caught something that they think may have been. You know how sometimes in pet shops you see little crocodiles.
Aye.
But they never get to be big crocodiles because they've always they've got them to the zoo by the time they get, as if they could take your arm off. But they think maybe he brought one back when it was tiny small, and when he got back he didn't want to look after it, so he just chucked it in the river or whatever. And it started growing up, and then he caught it on the hook, and some people think it escaped and ate coos, and as the song goes. Lambs and coos and all that kind of thing. So, just odd. Just one of the standard night owls odd conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, I love the history of the Lebanon worm. Like, I love it. Cracking.
It is absolutely traditional as well. And there's an awful lot of traditional stories that nobody tells the bands anymore, and it's a shame because it's our lives here. It's part of us.
Without a doubt, mate. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Okay. First topic. Get this out the way. The two, Newcastle United.
Yeah, where do you stand on it? What do you think?
Cracking result today. We fought well. We played the best game of our season, I think, today.
Joe Linton actually had a game.
He did, didn't he? He did. He actually touched the ball in the right direction. I'm not going to take nothing away from him.
No, for sure. He had a game today.
Socks off.
Yeah.
Every game. But today, he came good. He got a goal. I'm over the moon for him.
Right.
Cracking result, getting a point against Spurs. I'm delighted.
What do you think, though? Because even because Newcastle fans in general are more worried about Fulham because they can't turn it on and they've got a bit of skill in their ranks. But West Brom got a result out of nowhere against a big side. Do you think that there's more for Newcastle to worry about than Fulham now? Do you think West Brom can have a run?
I don't think we need to worry about Fulham. I think we need to worry about West Brom because they've got Big Sam behind them.
Yeah,
he's pulling some results right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Fulham are done.
You think?
I'm afraid to say it.
Right.
I'm a big fan of Fulham. I've always been a fan of Fulham, but I don't think they're going to survive.
Right.
We might scrape. Bottom fourth, bottom fifth, we might scrape it. But, it's going to be tight.
What's your view on Brucey, then?
Brucey, I think he's only got the tools that he can provide to put on the pitch.
Yeah.
Basically. He followed on Rafa's formula when he came in.
Yeah.
And it sort of worked and we picked a couple of points up, but it's not going to survive Newcastle United.
No.
Today, fortunately, I think the way you played, we got the result that he deserved.
Right.
A strong point.
Is he the best man for the job? Because I know they've been questioning him since about the third game that he played. I mean, he's had a plastering in the press, but is he the right man to do the job and keep Newcastle up then?
I don't think of anybody else who could do the same job, Alan.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Everybody's talking about the guy that used to be at Bournemouth, Eddie Howe.
Yeah. He's one of them who can slot into a Premier League position and take over a side, but I think Newcastle United needs somebody better. Is Brucey capable of taking them up? I think he is. I really think he is.
The only thing I worried about was when you start giving people who are described as he's a good championship performer, like Dwight Gale, let's give him a 3-year contract. That to me reeks of, well, if we go down to the championship, we know he can do a job for us. But can he do a job for Newcastle in the Premiership? That's the question.
Yeah, I don't think he can, Alan.
Right.
Dwight Gill will be leaving us. I do strongly believe that.
He just signed a new 3-year deal, though.
It's going to cost some money, yeah. And it comes down to Brucey and Ashley coming to a deal, Gill can he centre forward, but he's not a Premier League centre forward.
This is the thing, and I just remember when they were talking about increasing the forward line, and they had a bit of money, obviously, to buy Joe Linton. But for that kind of money, they could have got Danny Ings. You know, there was a few proper, proven centre forwards about.
There was hell on.
But let's go to Brazil and have this guy that nobody's heard of. Yet it was
exactly, yeah.
How random. That's typical Newcastle, mean, isn't it? Instead of throwing a net over 9 Frenchmen, let's have 9 Frenchmen. One of them will be able to kick a ball. We'll have them instead.
Aye. Yeah, there's never been full control from the manager, has there?
Well, this is it, but you don't know who's got the power. Is it the manager? Or is it the man behind the manager?
Yeah, that's always the difference between the top 4 and
the rest.
The rest of the Premier League, yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, there's always been a true leader. Yeah.
Anyway, Russ, thank you very much. Fingers crossed.
I've got a couple of more things to get on with there, Alan.
Go on then. Yes, go for it.
That's okay. Yeah,
of course. Yeah.
Getting old.
Yep.
Getting old. Getting old is when you can't finish your Chinese takeaway.
Yeah, I'll have the rest of that tomorrow. Absolutely, you are quite right.
I've got a couple of ghost stories for you.
Go on then.
Right. Going back a bit here, mind. Yeah. Way back.
Right.
You're talking 35 years ago. I had a brother killed, sadly, you know.
I'm sorry.
And a few months later on in that year, I would have been about 11, 12, I think.
Right.
Around about 11, 12 years old. I had a heavy flu on, and I was in bed, you know, really, really bad.
Right.
And a shoebox lifted up in front of me, and I was watching this. Okay, yeah, I had a very, very bad virus, but I could see the shoebox lifting up in front of me.
Right.
And it moved to the left, and then it just lowered down, back to the ground again, you know?
Yeah.
And that was when I was 12, about 12 years old. Yeah, that happened to me then.
Wow.
And you know what it is? I didn't feel anything abnormal. I thought, hey, bruv, I knew.
Right, you knew
know what I mean? I knew it was Neil doing that. Yeah.
Just messing with you.
Yeah.
Like brothers
just,
do. Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes, brother, and stuff like that. Yeah.
That's nice.
Aye.
Nice stuff. I'm just looking. I'm going to take a break right now to catch me news. But thank you very much for coming on, Russ. Really appreciate it. Thank you, man. All the best. There you go. Russ talking about Newcastle, Sunderland looking good, looking better. If you want to talk about Sunderland or the borough, pick up your telephone, give us a call, 0191 488 3188. We are back. You're on end of this.
All of these, the thing that people don't think about is all of these people had lives and lives and had an amazing time. Had their families. Just makes you want to know more about every one of them. That's the thing. Oh. Over there. There.
Where?
Look.
Where have I got it?
Behind that stone.
There.
Beside where the green is. Oh, shoot. I just got something over there. Just like darkness that kind of darts, if you know what I mean. What the hell is that? Oh, come on. It was taller than a gravestone. It just headed off that way, down in that direction. That's it. Let's make our way out. Come on. If you're here, show yourself. Love you to do that. Ow. I'd love you to do that. Come on. Absolutely. This is starting to get real. I'm starting to feel a bit different about this part of the... Yeah. Up here.
Seems to have gone very cold.
Yeah, absolutely really cold. Whoa, what the hell was that? Again. Whoa, there's... Did you get that? Or it's just me?
I heard both of those noises.
There's two noises, and there's no usually to be noises here. There's a massive wall there. There's nothing.
Ah, but there's graves. Graves at the back.
Yeah, there is graves at the back there, look.
Say again? Oh, that's a really good shout.
What's that?
We put the app on. Put our necromancer on. Yeah, let's do it. You should be able to hear it far better this time as well. I'll have it near. We got our new clip-on microphone. So what's that?
No.
What is it? Something moving.
Where?
Right. Let us. All right. Here we go.
Bake at home, at work, schools and colleges. You'll be able to collect them from a pharmacy. It's a massive programme. It's effectively the Operation Moonshot plan that Matt Hancock was talking about last summer.
Scotland's further easing its restrictions from today, with hairdressers and garden centres reopening. A 2-week-old baby has died after being hit by a car in the West Midlands. The vehicle drove away from the collision in Brownhills, but a 34-year-old man was arrested shortly afterwards on suspicion of causing death by dangerous driving. Research has found first-time buyers are typically better off than renters, saving an average of more than £800 a year. It's claimed average monthly costs to rent have increased by 10% in the last 12 months, but that costs for owning a home have only gone up by 1%. In sport, second-place Manchester United needed to come from behind to beat Brighton 2-1 in the Premier League. Tottenham's top four hopes were dented by conceding a late goal in a 2-2 draw with Newcastle, which frustrated boss Jose Mourinho.
We should and we come, of course, with the objective to win it, so not happy with the points. I don't want to go very deep on my analyze, because I feel that what I feel, what I think, what I want to say can only be in the dressing room.
Struggling Fulham lost 3-1 at Aston Villa, and Southampton beat Burnley 3-2. In the Scottish Cup, Rangers beat Cove Rangers to set up a fourth-round tie with Glasgow rivals Celtic. From Sky News, I'm Richard Newman.
Thank you, Richard. Greatest Hits Radio North East. Alan Robson with you on the Night Owls. And lots to talk about. Big hi to Harry, who is one of our brood, listening, I'm guessing, somewhere all points south. And we got a few people queuing up to get on, so we'll get to them very, very soon. Time for your third clue, though. Now, remember, each clue has an answer. That answer is a song title. They're all greatest hits, and you've got to name the hits. And once you name all 4 hits, you tell me what all of those 4 hits have in common. But you've got to work out what the hits are first. First clue is this. When you buy anything in a shop, they put your money in one. What do they put your money into? Okay? Second clue. The lawn outside your house is this. Okay? The lawn outside your house is this. The third clue. When you're making... I knew I would giggle at this. When you're making love and you go off. Sounds worse when you actually say it. When you're making love and you go off, this is what you are, okay? When you're making love and you go off, this is what you are. 3 clues down, 1 more clue to come. That last clue will nail you. You'll get it straight away. You'll ring up, you'll win the prize. Game over. Right, get ready for that. That's coming in about 20 minutes. But just before we dive across, it's our Anne as well that we're talking to. Anne from West Denton in a second. But at the beginning of the show, I said signs that you're not as young as you used to be. I mentioned creaking in chairs, that you can't do the latest dances, and the fact that you chunter, like I chuntered during a ghost hunt recently. So, what signs have you had? What big changes have you kind of taken umbrage with? Whether you are male or whether you're female, when you're getting a little bit older, changes occur. What really are you not happy about? Now, apparently, though, you can get a lot of fun out of an older guy in the bedroom. It's closer to a small octopus. Just they stick to things that you don't expect. So just don't expect everything to be as glamorous.
Like get like a pair of old tights and sort of and tie them up so they don't flop about so much.
I wouldn't say that as soon as you meet him.
But just have them handy, just in case.
Yeah, old man's testicles. Not a topic that we talk about often. And then, of course, there's certain items that maybe you shouldn't borrow.
My auntie's partner, years ago this was,
Yeah.
he broke his front teeth, right?
Right. Oh.
My auntie said, our Aaron's just getting some new front teeth. I'll go around and get our old ones for you so that you'll have some teeth to chew on. Not thinking that everybody's mouth is different sizes, you know what I mean? So she went round to me mum's and got these false teeth right. Well, my mum's got a big grit, had passed away, God love her.
Bless her, yeah.
So anyway, he put these false teeth in. And you know Kenny Everett, when he used to do Take Off the Bee Gees?
Yes.
Well, that's what he looked like.
I bet. Oh, dear.
And he put them in and he was just singing like the Bee Gees. Honestly, everyone was in hysterics laughing.
Another question. You know, we're talking about things that happen when you get older. Every day you're on the planet, you're one step closer to death. You don't like to look at it that way, but there is a thing that exists called a death clock. There's this death clock site, and if you give me your date of birth, it tells you when you're going to die. It also tells you how many days you've got left to live. It goes that far. But you don't want to find out when you're going to die, do you, Kelly?
No. Sure, not because you're going to tell us anyway.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to tell you the day in May you're going to die.
Right, if you say so.
Okay.
No, man, Big Brother, do you think you'd have to be 18 then to go in the house? Or?
I think as long as you're 18 when you go in there, and provided, of course, you're 18 before the 24th of May 2024, I think as long as you do that, then you'll probably get into Big Brother as far as I'm concerned. Okay.
Anyway.
Unless you pass over. You're really going to be quite young, aren't you? You haven't got long left, frankly. Because you've only got 22 years left.
Anyway.
And hang on, we're coming into 2003.
Well,
So you've only got 21 years left. Wonder what it'll be.
Wonder, be 38.
Wonder if it'll be a road accident or something will fall off a building or
Leave
something.
it. I'm not going to let
Or
it
maybe
drive.
somebody will climb into your bedroom window one night with an axe.
Shut it, Alan. Shut it, man. Oh, don't. That's evil, man. Stop it, Alan. I'll cry now. I'll cry myself to sleep because I know I'm going to die now.
Yeah, but you've got 21 years left. That's okay.
That's no comfort, though. Oh, man.
It's no comfort now when it's all these years further up the line. She's only got 3 years left now. That's if it's true, and you know it's not. She's going to live till she's 121, that one. And also, other things that tell you that you're getting on is when you have children of your own that you've got to talk about.
I had taken a boyfriend home on the way back. It was just me and her in the car.
Right.
And I had approached the subject by saying, you seem very close. She says, well, I mean, I had been together for about 3 months by this time.
Right.
And she was only 15. And I sort of just come out with the question, he says, are you doing stuff?
Oh, brave, that's brave.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get an answer. What did she say?
Well, I mean, she sort of paused and took a breath, and she sort of said yes. Because she was only 15, I says, you are not having sex, basically. She says, no. She says, we're not.
Yeah, well, you would, though, wouldn't you? That's the thing. Can you believe that? And also, when you get a bit older, there's nothing worse than an embarrassing dad. When he's in front of the television, this is just you two together, I presume.
And when my friends come round.
And your friends.
Yeah.
He rearranges himself.
Uh-huh.
How does he do that, then?
Through his pants. And sometimes in the pocket as well.
In the pocket?
Yeah.
He's a bit of a juggler.
Yeah.
Right. And your mates all notice?
Yeah. And when they come round, he asks them questions.
Like?
Have you got a girlfriend? Have you snubbed her yet? And stuff like that.
I'd be just an ounce concerned about your father.
I am. Extremely.
How about that? Men do rearrange themselves because it's complicated down there. Women don't understand. 0191 488 3188. We have Anne from West Denton. Hello, Anne.
Hello, happy Easter.
Happy Easter to you too, darling. I hope you had a good one.
Oh, lovely time. All the family came and they were drunk out in this garden. I was just sitting with my water.
Excellent. That's good.
I've got two quick subjects.
Okay.
I'm online, my 40.
Uh-huh.
And I got my lovely magazine back from America. Oh, it's lovely.
And are you in it? Are you definitely in it then? Because you said you were going to be.
Yes,
Brilliant.
It's online. There's some lovely.
So what magazine is it? And we'll look you up.
It's begin with G.E. Smith, UX. That's all I can think about because I haven't got the book upstairs.
All right, okay.
Begins with G.E. Smith and then there's some X. You'll soon find it online.
Right.
And it's a big portrait of us. And on the bottom, would believe it, on my pension, she says, he's got a, she says, it was a model, they put model underneath the name and address on.
Uh-huh.
And she says she likes my face.
Nice.
And it's a big modelling at my age. And she says, you seem to be interested in your eyes because they're piercing blue, you know.
Yeah.
And I had no makeup on. I went naturally.
Right.
Just, you know, when in the house.
Yeah.
And I'm a model. I didn't know why. I got such a shock. It's taken quite a bit in, like, you know.
No, it's good. I just hope you get some more contracts to do stuff here. That would be great.
And another thing, I'm quick because it's busy. You know, sorry, have you done Cases Gone Cold, Alan?
See again?
You know, when that the woman who killed her from America, was she?
Oh, yes. No, I know what you mean. And
do you know now?
I do.
Well, why doesn't a fat woman come here and serve a sentence? That poor lovely lad.
Yeah.
He's got no life. He was a canny bloke, a young lad.
Yeah.
And the parents are trying hard to get that woman over to serve a sentence. She should be same as anybody else, regardless of what she's got, put in bloody jail, throw the key away. Because I've just heard that man on the news telling that little kid, dangerous bloody driving, and you just said before, when I was drink driving through. Why don't they keep him in bloody prison? It maddens me because my daughter, I'm over it now, and grandson is still getting medication for the scumbag 6 years still.
Yeah, crazy.
And my grandson's having a hernia operation on Tuesday. Why doesn't a judge, instead of if one of them is getting upset in the court, why doesn't the bloody judge, if it happened to his family, the one harder sentence, the one who get anybody killing people as well? Yeah, I mean, a lot of crime stories I watch every night. Not now because I'm watching it doing this. And I says, why don't they get a bloody way and get a hard sentence, never get out? Look, okay, I wish I was the judge. And that's what I was telling her to go.
Well, what I don't understand is, first of all, this guy in Gateshead's a rapist. Before you even start. Now, I would put rapists away for life. I've got no time because they get out and they commit another crime and then another crime and on it goes. And he's got a 33rd driving ban. He's been banned 33 times. What a waste of our money sending him to court.
I know.
You know, when
The judge-
the Americans did that thing, 3 strikes and you're out, I actually really liked the idea.
Oh,
I wish
I
they'd
like
brought
that.
it in. And if that had been the case, we would have saved 30 of those driving bans. 30
I've
times.
watched all the crime stories, you know, at night. I want some more shows on this one. I wouldn't bother with it, Sally. And the kids, they get raping kids. Or they come out, they just do the crime again.
Yeah.
It's just terrible, isn't it, Alan? Honestly, it gets me really mad.
Yeah, me too.
I wish I was a lawyer, somebody.
I could just
and
see
now
it.
they would go pull the toilet string on it.
Absolutely. Judge Anne, that's what we need.
All right, thanks very much, then. Good night, then.
No worries. Bye-bye. There's Anne from West Denton getting a dander up, and why not? April is next in Chester Street. It's your month, April. Hello.
Hi, Alan.
Hello, love. How
Happy
you doing?
Christmas.
Happy Christmas.
Bloody hell, man. Happy Easter. No, you want to know how I said that? Because I'm looking at my tree and it's still got a bauble on it.
I'm just thinking,
decoration tree in the Christmas.
how much did this one drink at Easter? There you go. Happy Christmas,
God.
everybody.
I've only had 2 gins. Bloody hell, man. Hey, honestly. Hey, God.
So
what I was ringing to talk about was last night. Honestly, it's the first time it's ever happened to me. Like, I'm a spiritual person, and obviously, like, it's never happened to me before. But I just got my little boy settled down, and it was quite late at night.
Yeah.
So obviously, the Easter bunny had came with his delivery.
Right.
So it was getting put into the living room.
Yeah.
And I had a Budweiser, like a little bottle of Budweiser, and I put it on the bench before I'd obviously went to put the stuff out.
Right.
And we were in the living room, like obviously putting all like the eggs out and putting them into the places and stuff, what have you.
Right.
And all we heard was like a big bang, and we were like, what was that? We went through, and literally the bottle of Budweiser had been knocked off the bench, like about 2 meters across the kitchen. And I was like, what the hell was that? Like, I just didn't understand it. And then later in the night, it must have been about 3, 4 in the morning, there was a big, massive, huge crash bang wallop downstairs. And I was just like, I'm not going down. There's no way I'm going down to see that. No way is that happening at all. But the weird thing was, a few nights before, it must have been about 1, 2 in the morning. There was we weren't expecting anybody, but we still had someone. We had knocking at the door. I didn't even answer that. I'm like, God almighty, what's going on? And then today, my back door, it was shut and it just opened. I'm thinking, what the hell's going on? And then, like, just this evening, my house phone rang. And I'm thinking, nobody ever rings it because I've got the mobile. So I thought, I'll let it ring out. My little girl came, the phone. So when I pressed 1471, it was like my mother-in-law. But the time it said she'd rang 2 hours before, but the phone had just rang, and that was the number what had rang. It was so weird.
That's just odd.
Oh, it was so creepy, honestly. And then, funny enough, his mother and like my partner's mother and like my mother-in-law, around the same time when that was happening, she had an ashtray in her house what just shattered, and she had an ice cube in her drink, and that shattered at the same time. So I don't know what's going on. It's just so creepy.
That is, and also you don't want somebody flapping around your back door.
No, right. I've got a 6-foot fence all the way around my perimeter, and it's bolted shut, the gate.
Right.
So there's no one can get in. That's what I'm saying. It was just so weird. It just flung open. I was standing in the kitchen.
Has anything happened? Have you had a loss of a family member or something? Has a friend died? Any crack?
Not recently, no. Not recently at all, no. Right. The only, like, I've had an uncle what died. It was through alcohol. And my partner's had an uncle what died through alcohol. But like that's who I keep picking up on. It's either one of the two of them. But obviously with the things happening at my partner's mum, I'm thinking it's more his uncle. Because he always said that he would come back and he would get where, but if it is him, honestly, bugger. Doing that at that time, fair enough, I accepted the bottle, but that crash bang wallet, honestly, it was like someone had picked me Hoover up and just flung it across the hallway.
Loved it. Yeah. Wow.
Honestly, it was just crazy. But I was also going to mention a house I used to live in, up the mountains.
Yeah.
You know where that is?
I do.
But it was a really, really, really old house. It was all right when we first moved in. We were there for like 2 years. The first year was absolutely fine. It was the second year when stuff started happening. like, if I was in the house on my own, obviously I've got a German Shepherd. He's 13 now, bless him. This was like a good few years back.
Right.
But I wouldn't stay in the house on my own. But when I was in the house, like, I would be in the living room, say, watching like the telly, but I would have all the lights out, and you would hear like a tap, tap, tap. And I was like, for the life of us, I'm thinking, what the hell is that? I honestly thought it was someone like playing funny bag. I was like hurling stones off the window.
Yeah.
So I would go out and I would look, and there'd be no one there. The whole street was like dead. And then over time, it was so weird. But I ended up moving out of the house because it got that bad. There was one night I woke up, and I've never seen this in my whole entire life. It terrified me. Gizmo was like growling and like looking up, and that's what woke us up. And when I woke up and I looked up, there was like a black fog smoke thing above our heads in the bed. It terrified me, and I was just like, "There's something not right here." But like it's sort like just one thing after another, happened, and it wasn't good things. It was just like something would get broken, but you wouldn't know it had been broken, so there would be like just broken glass on the floor,
right?
And you'd be thinking, well, how's that happened?
Yeah.
It was a horrible place. Like the house itself was all right, but there was something within the house. And I ended up moving. And funnily enough, the person who actually helped me move, he was a ghost hunter himself. And he when he was like, picking the settee up, was like a corner settee, and he says who's upstairs? I says, there's nobody here. It's just me and you. My dogs are already gone. My partner's gone. He says, no, there's someone upstairs. I says, can you see it? Can you see it through the splinders? Because it had splinders, like you would have the stairs, like in the living room.
Right.
But you always felt something there, like watching you. And he says, no, there's something there, and it's not good. But like I was just terrified. I was like, look, you can keep your house. Just let me let me take my belongings. Don't attach yourself to them. Just you can have your house back. I don't want to live here no more. And when I moved out, God, it was years later. It was just like, I think it was like a few months back. I checked it. But I checked the house on Google Maps, and when you look at the image of like where the kitchen is, when you actually zoom in, you can see something on like in the house. I'll send you it on Messenger,
please.
But honestly, it is so creepy. Like, it's not human. It's like on all fours, and it's like looking up at you. It's just honest. Yeah, I'll have to send it to you so you can see it yourself.
Love to
but
see.
No, like when I seen that just made me even more terrified. And thank the Lord, touch wood, I'm touching wood at the minute, that it hasn't followed us.
Yeah.
But, oh, God, no, honestly, it was just so weird. Like, when you would sit in the house, obviously, it had these big, massive, huge, open, like, fireplaces, but they'd been blocked off.
Right.
But you could see, I'm a spiritualist, obviously, so I can feel, like, a lot of energies and stuff, but you could feel a lot of things, like, passing through all the houses.
Right.
And it was right next door to a graveyard, which probably didn't help.
Yeah.
And obviously, there was, like, a lot of miners and stuff back then. But no, like, it was just this one thing that was in the house, and I don't know what it was. It was just, it wasn't good. It was like evil. It was weird.
Dum, dum, dum. That's great stuff.
Yeah, I've been meaning to tell you that since you are on Metro, actually.
I'm glad you've finally got there. Thank you very much for coming on, April.
It's no bother, Alan. Have a brilliant Easter.
I
Enjoy
will.
the rest of it
Bless you
anyway.
down. Take it easy. Bye-bye. How nice is that? There you go. There's April, all kinds of stuff. I love the fact that I've had a couple of relatives that died. One, it was drink, it was alcohol. And the other one, that was alcohol. And how did she start her call? Merry Christmas. Loved that. And great stories, so all the same. So you can kind of see if you do have an ability to feel or sense otherworldly things. I've got to be kind of in the zone for it. I can't just like switch it on. But if you're in a place, sometimes you do get a feel. DJ Banger, thank you very much. It was a joke I threw in that everybody else missed, but he got it. Well done. And Nicola says you can try and jump for a pump or end up with a flump. That's a fact. There you go. Jump for a pump, end up with a trump or a flump. There's plenty of umps about. And Tony sent me this. You know you're getting old when, and a load of people have come up with some great ones tonight. Let me just share a few with you. Fiona Coulson, going upstairs to get or do something, going completely blank, then we'll be going back down, then up again to make me remember. Worth a go? No, still can't remember. Lisa Cassip, walking down the stairs on a morning, same foot forward each stairs, waiting till the kids are old enough to have gone to have a lie-in, But by then, by the time they are, your body clock's gone to pot and you can't. I'm not even 50 yet. God help is with his is. And Sarah Gray, when you can't see to read without your specs on and you can't get comfy for aches and pains. Sue Armstrong, definitely memory. Set out an Easter egg hunt for my 2 granddaughters today. 32 little eggs hidden in 3 rooms. They found 30. Have no idea where the others would be. And then that's an hour after putting them out. Chris, when you got more hair on your chin than your head. V. Gwinnett, when my daughters have their 30th birthday and 2 granddaughters turn 30 and 18 this year. Alison, I think one of the main things for me is when you sit on the floor for a while, then instead of jumping back straight up on your feet unaided, you have to go from your bum to your hands and your knees, then to a sofa or a chair to push up from, and then you make lots of involuntary sounds that once over never came out of your mouth. Naomi Ashton, yay, wasn't sure if this was on due to bank holiday week. Oh no, I'm here. Emma Lunt, when you ask for a new set of pans for Christmas. Jenny Laidler, getting old is when you can remember what you did 80 years ago, but you just can't remember what you did last week. Ron Robson, when you're in your 50s, your mind thinks it's still in its 20s. Your body feels like you're in your 80s. Me knees sound like a creaky door in a haunted house. Glynis Lloyd, when your joints go off like fireworks when you get off the sofa. These are brilliant. Lynn Cox, when getting up from sitting and picking things up, I find I'm making moans and groans and muttering away to myself. Lynn, I talked about how suddenly I've started chuntering. That's chuntering right there. Helen McCullough, when your teenager plays music and you just hear noise. Diane Weston, you know you're getting old if you fall over in front of your mates and they don't laugh. Arthur George Granger, I knew I was getting old when I saw an attractive young woman walking along the street wearing a short skirt and sleeveless top. My immediate thought was, she needs a jacket or she'll catch cold. Sue Venus Curtis, when your grandkids ask you to dance with them and you tell them you can't because you've got a bone in your leg. Michael J. Slazer, when you can't find your reading glasses, it's generally because they're still on the top of your head. And Arthur again, it's not that, it's when your friends call you at 9:30 p.m. and say, sorry, did I wake you? Tom Hayes, complaining about the young kids outside playing football. David Hall, you know you're getting old when your knees buckle and your belt won't. John Hawes, you know you're getting old when you bend down, you make a noise. The longer the noise, the older you are. Kim Williams, when you wonder if you'll still be awake to listen. Louise Dickinson, when your knees start to make crunching noises, walking up and down the stairs. And finally, Maureen Muir, these are brilliant. You know you're getting old when you have a conversation about the first time you listened to Alan Robson's Night Owls and you remember you were 17 years old. I'm now nearly 53. OMG! Blimey. I don't know how people can get that old, Maureen. 0191 488 3188. I must have been an embryo back then. Let's move across and talk to Janet, who is in Low Fell. Although my mouse has just disappeared, so bear with me a second. I'll find... There it is. Hello, Janet. Oh, she's moved as well. Hello, Janet.
Alan.
Hello, darling. What can we do for you tonight?
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter to you too. Thank you.
I'm just ringing to tell you about a visit that we had to Brinkburn Priory a few years ago.
Right. Do tell.
Well, really just, I think it was around about a bank holiday time as well then. But we're just out for a drive and then we're seeing a sign pointing down to Brinkburn Priory. We weren't planning on going there or anything like that.
Right.
And we thought, well, I wonder what that's like down there. So we had to park up like the top of a bank and then walk down. And we thought, this is a long way down. I thought it's going to be worth it. And when we got there, I thought, it's really nice here. And so we paid admission. We're the only ones there. And I thought, is it open? Is it not?
Yeah.
And there was only a couple of us there. And we thought, we'll have a look round and see what it's like.
Yeah.
And then we went into the priory, and straight away, as soon as we got into the priory, I felt like a feeling, like a heavy feeling.
Right, yeah.
Straight away, as if there's something there, straight away.
Right.
And you could see, like, dark shadows moving. And you could just, and then we heard, like, monks chanting.
Right.
Like chanting, like Latin music.
Right.
When you hear like the monks chanting, like the
Not Latin music like Gloria Estefan or anything like
oh,
that.
No, nothing like that. No. Would it be dancing then?
1, 2, 3. No, maybe it's not.
Shake your body. No, nothing like that. I don't know.
No, I know what you mean. Latin chants, like Gregorian chants, that kind of thing.
Gregorian chants, yeah, exactly. I heard that like just faintly in the background, and like it faded away a couple of times. I heard that in the actual priory,
right?
And it was really like quite important. You know what I mean? It was like quite eerie.
Yeah, but you went down there for a nice little summer's visit as well.
Yeah,
so.
we weren't even planning on going there, and it was just as if somebody had drawn me to go there.
Yeah,
we were just out for a drive, really. If we heading up to Northumberland, so we'll just have a little drive round. It was just
sucking in their latest victims. That's what it was doing by the sound of things.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. And then we came out, and like even the fella just on the wall. It was a lovely summer's day, like it was like red hot, sunny, and sat on the wall, and even the grounds round about, you could see you'd see chickens walking and disappearing behind the hedging.
Right.
Just like transparent figures.
You saw an awful lot. You must have been wide open to it all.
Oh, well, I think I am a bit susceptible to stuff like that.
I think you are, absolutely.
But we went into the manor house, which is just like across the way from the priory.
Yes.
And that was you getting refurbishment done and things like that. They had the stairway closed off, but it was like something like thrown. You feel as if you wanted to go up. And you hear like bangs and knocks and, and then we went further down into the manor house, and some of the rooms are closed off, but some of them are open.
Right.
But you hear talking, like chatter in the background as if somebody was like, like the whispering sound. It was like really eerie, but I think it would be a good place for you to go for when you're investigating.
Again, I shall put that down too. Brinkburn Priory, why not?
I think it would really be good. It's really good. I mean, I just found that by accident. We weren't planning on going there. I've never been back since, mate, but I would really like to go again.
It sounds like you got as much there as you would have got in a haunted house, and that's all made up. Brilliant.
Yeah, and it was really, really good. I mean, a kid later when we come back home, let ourselves in to the house, and the upstairs radio was on, switched on, and it was the Latin music again. It was like. And it wasn't Gloria Estefan. It was a Gregorian chant. It was Gregorian chant, so it was actually on upstairs on the radio.
Bizarre.
When we come in, we shut the door, come in, went to the living room, and I went to the bottom of the stairs. There's what's that upstairs? And we could hear it. Upstairs, it was like...
The monks had followed you home.
It sounded like that.
We're upstairs waiting in your bedroom. Hello. I want to get out the habit. Right. Whoa. Ain't a great
I think
story.
it would be a really interesting place for you to visit.
Dalston Hall, Cumbria, Brinkburn Priory. We'll be making contact with all. You see, we're so busy now doing them weekly, which we've never done before.
Yeah.
We'll be looking for places. There's no question about it. But hey, thank you very much for coming on. Great call.
It's all right.
Thanks for sharing, Janet. Cheers,
you
Alan.
Take care.
And you, bye-bye. There you go, Janet and Lowfell. It's been a good Easter show, hasn't it? I enjoyed it. Thank you very much, everybody, for your kindness. Pick up your telephone. We've got Marie. I'll be with you very soon, Marie, but we're due a track because we didn't play one about 5 to 1. So I'm going to give you the fourth clue so you can get cogitating. Not chuntering. I can't chunt anymore. Clue number 1, and I can't chunt. Tony told me earlier what chunting is, and that's a whole different ball game. Everybody be looking that up on Google as we speak. Clue number 1, when you buy anything in a shop, they put your money in one. What do they put your money in? Second clue, the lawn outside your house is this. Now, they're 2 names of songs. Third clue, third song, when you're making love and you go off, this is what you are. When you're making love and you go off, this is what you are. That's the name of another song. And the fourth clue, Samson's Totty. Okay? Samson's Totty. You got 4 clues. You got 4 songs. What do they all have in common? Ring Chris right now on 0191 488 3188. Give them a call right now. Piece of music we're playing is for all of those people, because I know a number of you carried out a healing that we put together a few days ago. And I've heard back from 2 people so far that they've had a little bit of success. And particularly the parents of a young lad called Harry, who is getting out of hospital next week, first time in about 3 months. And it's all going well. So I just thought this would be kind of appropriate.